Hello! I am Cara Sophia, and this is Dirty 20 Gaming. Yes, that is right. Kevin is off tonight doing something else, and I am filling in. I have stolen the stream key. Anyways, tonight we have a super treat for you. Our very first community-led game, a D&D 5th edition adventure entitled Poseidon's Promise with Dungeon Master Eddie. But first, here we have the credit that we are happy to share where it is due. Our virtual tabletop tonight is Roll20. We are including music from Bensound and Tabletop Audio, Incomptech, and Pixabay. Art assets are from a variety of sources, including Flickr via Pixabay and HeroForge, and have been manipulated by our talented art staff. I didn't want to put that in, but Kevin made me. Anyway, speaking of HeroForge, we are affiliated with them, and if you are considering ordering from them for any of your mini or token needs, please use the link in the panels down below. It won't get you a deal, but it will get Dirty 20 Gaming a commission, which helps support our community. And if you would like to be a part of our community and games, please join us in Discord, which I am actually going to remember to put in chat. Aha! And with that, I'm going to turn the stage over to our fabulous DM, Eddie. Enjoy.
Hello. Welcome to Dirty 20 Gaming, and thank you all so much for joining us for the first of hopefully many one-shots, and depending on how tonight goes, 2 shots, 3 shots, something like that. Tonight's game is called Poseidon's Promise, and we'll be playing my favorite type of therapy, Dungeons & Dragons 5th edition. We, meaning our lovely Montlake crew, we have here, I'm speaking, of course, about their characters, and not these lovely, fine humans themselves. Speaking of lovely, Saber, thank you for joining us tonight. What you up to, and where can people find you?
Thanks so much for having me. Super excited to be here. I am on Instagram at Saber_Sensei. I am in the process of trying to get my Twitter up and running again. If there are any techie people out there who might know why somebody got suspended/locked even though they don't use their account very often, let me know. Send me a message in the Discord. I'd really appreciate the help. I've tried the appeal. It's not working. But hopefully you'll be able to find me on Twitter again soon. Other than that, I teach drama to junior high and high school students, and looking forward to running my own one-shots. Thank you so much for running this for us and helping me see new DM styles. And yeah, I'm really looking forward to it. Thanks for having me.
I'm glad you'll be used to our type of humor. All right, next up we have G. G, welcome to Dirty 20 Gaming. I'm excited to see your character in action once again. How have you been, and where can people find you if you'd like them to?
Well, I've been pretty good. People can find my Instagram account, I guess. It's just doodles and drawings I've been doing for the past little bit. Gorg the org with underscores in between. It's easy enough to find. I just Googled it, and to my surprise, it was the first entry.
Great, that's phenomenal success. Better success and luck than I ever seem to have. Solar, I just met you the last couple days here, but I'm thrilled to have you a part of this experience. I'm excited to see what your character does tonight. What have you been getting up to, and where can the people find you? You are muted currently. All good.
Yeah, I was trying to be nice. Okay, so for the most part, you guys can find us within our Discord channel, which Kevin has kindly put back up there. Also, I am in a game on Sundays called with Storm King's Thunder called The World at Large. You can find me there as I play Beowulf Blackmane. Otherwise, right now I'm not streaming too much or doing much else except for work.
Well, lastly, but not leastly, Red, you've been getting busy the last little while. I'm glad to have you back in a game. I'm excited for the opportunity to kill you again. What have you had going on, and where can people find you?
Indeed, I'm doing fantastic. I've mostly been busy adventuring in the real world for a bit, take a bit of a break from D&D, unfortunately, but I'm glad to be back, get into some new adventures, and hopefully I don't die this time. We'll see, fingers crossed. But yeah, if anyone wants to check out my real life adventures, you can follow me on Instagram at Ediablom. That's Ediablom. I also have a podcast, and all the links for that are going to be in my bio on Instagram. So feel free to check it out and give it a listen. And I'd love to see you guys.
Wonderful. With nearly all the introductions finished, I guess I should talk about myself for half a second. Hi, I'm Eddie Elfman. I'm an Edmonton-based voice actor. Come find me on my socials. You can find them right here. Ka-chow. I just watched the Cars franchise. I have a lot of questions. Anyways, if you have a creative project that doesn't have to do with any very weird specific things about robots becoming things, please feel free to reach out. And without further ado, let's get into tonight's episode of Poseiden's Promise. Citizens, you're all citizens of the Humanic nation formerly known as the Republic of Bon Lys. Located on the western half of the continent of Soria, the landing location of many pilgrims and conquerors many generations ago. These people, virtually all human tribes, descended and lay claim to the entirety of the western coast of Soria. Nestled between the Glimmering Sea and the Celeria Mountains, a culture and an empire thrived away from elvish and dwarvish influence, and it is in recent memory that Republic of Bon Lys has shifted their fearful xenophobic laws. 100 years since the opening of their borders to non-humanic races, 20 years since the allowing of non-humanic races the title of citizen, and 10 years since the recognition of equality of the races, and with it the outlawing of slavery. With all this change, the nation is lurching forward in industry, arts, and new ideas brought in from other nations. Every sector is spinning and turning fast, save for your current occupation. Adventuring, dungeon diving, exploring, whatever you'd like to call it. Times are tough, for you particularly, and this gig pays. Half up front as well. What's the hook? I mean, what is the gig in question? Well, the mouth of a sub-oceanic cave has opened at low tide. Several teams of experienced explorers and government-sponsored squads have already entered to not be heard from again. Hall of Poseiden fears this coming opening will be the last opportunity to explore and unlock the cave's secrets, for at least the next year. Both the Crown and the Explorers Union have exhausted all available resources for this religious excavation. Your team is all that is left. The reason you've taken this job, particularly, is because it pays more if you don't come back. The scene now opens with the sound of crashing waves. The long rowboat rises and falls, bringing the four of you closer and closer through the early morning fog to the cave mouth entrance. Two cabin boys, one at either end of the boat, quietly leaning forward and backward, working the oars. Neither seems to make eye contact or offer any words of encouragement. The boat lurches forward in respect to the audience's camera, and we see our first player character. Onyx, would you please describe yourself?
I am a older-looking tiefling, somewhere between 35 and 45, if you had to guess. Dark, bluish black skin, horns like a buck, and white eyes. I look somehow wise and reckless at the same time. Kind of tired, but mostly of other people's bullshit. I'm wearing a large trench coat and a hat that's not on my head but resting on the back of my shoulders. Many scars, a bit of facial hair, and sipping on something in a flask. You could probably smell it's stronger than just water. Just riding the waves.
The angle pivots. Something in the background of the shot sits perfectly still, difficult to perceive. We now shift focus to the figure behind Onyx. Swift. What do you look like?
If you had to describe me, I would look as dark as a black panther and I pounce just as quickly. I am a tabaxi and I try and stay within the shadows. If you find me, well, that's bad luck for me. I've heard black cats are bad luck, but I'm trying to beat that. I'm just here for a good time. I'm still pretty young, but you can definitely not find me wherever you wish. I'm going to be staying in the shadows.
Yes. Carrying on, over the shoulder of Swift, we see a broader figure. Guruth, could you describe yourself, please?
Guruth, I'm a orc, and I'm towering kind of tall above these people. I'm a solid 6'6", pretty well built, all muscle, but on the smaller side for my kind is a full-blooded orc, and I'm out to prove that I'm bigger than my stature. I'm always out to find the biggest challenge, the toughest enemy, whatever it is, I'm there for it. And I just had to take this job because I heard nobody came back, so I have to try and be the first.
Shows the determination in Guruth's face as he stares out into the fog. And lastly, Ronnie. The camera shifts lower this time, fiddling with something in their pack. What does the audience notice about Ronnie?
Well, in comparison to Guru, quite a bit lower, as Ronnie's standing at a tall 3 feet. He's also a very pot-bellied rat folk, and wearing baggy pants and a vest, going PG Donald Duck. And the only thing more insatiable than his hunger for cheese is gold.
What a trustworthy group of people.
Right.
You all sit in silence as the cabin boys lean forward and backward, again avoiding eye contact. Is there anything you'd like to say to each other, to them, or any prayers you'd like to cast?
Guruth doesn't say anything, but he's just kind of looking around, almost sizing up his compatriots, seeing if they might be worthy to have my back in a fight.
You can give me an insight check.
All right. That is that's a solid 6.
As you look at the three figures, I don't even know if you've necessarily been able to measure up a tabaxi, a rat folk, and a tiefling before, but as you look at the three of them, couldn't think of anyone better. You probably lucked out. You were expecting scrawny-armed weaklings, and they all look pretty confident.
I'd like to roll a perception to see if I notice anyone looking at me a certain way, but also hopefully it rolls high enough to get some information about our surroundings.
Sure. All right.
That'd be a 12.
Right. Guruth isn't really hiding that he's looking you up and down.
Not at all.
Onyx.
He's not a subtle person.
And the thick fog that's kind of like laying around these areas, every once in a while you kind of hear the crack and the scratching of the boat along these like shallower rocks that are now brushing up and kind of pushing you guys ever so gently. You can make out that Guruth is looking you up and down in like an appraisal type of way, and the two cabin boys are looking every which way but each other's eyes and your guys' eyes. They're just trying to keep their head down. You don't know how they're
Do I have a good idea of Guruth's age?
He's on the younger side. He's probably late 20s, early 30s. He's like right in his physical prime, if you will. He's young enough. He's still out there to try and prove things, but old enough that he's been through one or two things. He's seen a fight.
So I'll look back at you, kind of give you a slide up and down, and ask if there's anything I can do for you, son.
Kind of just pops his chest out a little more and is like, no, just seeing how much weight I'll have to pull on my own.
What makes you think that?
Past experience.
You had to carry heavy loads on your own.
Once or twice. More than welcome.
Not much of a team player.
I won't stab you in the back, but I am used to doing things myself.
I'd suggest you don't. And if we do have any hope at all of getting out of here, we are gonna have to work together more than just avoid hurting one another, know what I'm saying?
I get what you're saying.
And I'll lean over and offer you a swig from my flask if you'd like to take it.
Oh, I'll never say no to a drink.
Cheers.
Takes a swig and nods back with a...
It's hard grain alcohol, likely made by Onyx.
Wonderful. Guru loves it. Instant notch of respect right there.
At the mention of stabbing anybody in the back, the camera does pivot a little bit to include Swift in the shot. Swift and Ronnie, do either of you have anything to add to this conversation about cooperation and teamwork?
As of this point, I don't trust anybody still. That could obviously change depending upon my mood and how well we work together. But for now, I'll just keep in the shadows.
You slink deeper into the seat in this very uncomfortable longboat. And as the six of you, including the cabin boys, slowly make your way, now more frequently getting jostled and moved back and forth along the shallow rocks. Eventually get to a point where there's a sudden lurch in the boat. A few of you kind of catch yourselves. The cabin boys have a look of recognition in their faces, and you see that they begin to unstrap. Looks to be about the length of this rowboat, about a 15-foot ladder that they have strapped to the side of it. And together, working in unison, they begin to untie it, and the one on the backside of the boat tosses it up in the air, and the other one swiftly, slowly lowers it. And you hear it clank into the fog. Seemingly on something sturdy. He pulls the steps of the ladder across, so it's laying on either side, the port and starboard of the rowboat. We're here.
How far down is it from the top of the boat to where the rope clanked against the ground?
The ladder looks to be more or less like at a slight 5-degree angle. You're kind of bobbing up and down in the water, and it seems the fog is so thick you can't see past the 15-foot ladder, but it hit something hard, sounded like rock. This is the young boy. Step across, and this, the cave entrance should be within sight.
Why, in a hurry to leave, as Guru steps up onto the ladder.
Kind of bows a little bit, and you sway a touch, but you have great balance. He goes, yeah, I've done this. He looks over at the other cowboy 5 other times, and I don't want this boring interaction to be one of your last.
Well, then why don't you make it more exciting?
A look of
I
panic
give a
goes across
cautionary glare
this
at
cabin
Groove.
boy, and the
he
other
just
cabin
just
boy
walks away.
look back, and you
He
just
walks away.
step
Yeah.
one foot in front of the other, with the grace of a trapeze artist, just kind of slowly strolling across. Anybody else going to join Garuth into the darkness?
Yeah.
Well,
Ronnie-
after a small swim.
Okay, I'm up. Yeah, Ronnie's just gonna pass by everyone. You lot are depressing. Here for gold. What's wrong with you? And he's just gonna keep going.
Suppose I'll be the last to leave then. Give a nod to the cabin boys and follow my team.
Let Poseidon fill your nets. And as the four of you cross the boundary, you quickly make it over to a very crowded rock with the four of you on. Ronnie's in a little bit more of a comfortable position, but just a couple hop and steps over. What you can see is just this ocean spray slicking all these rocks. You see about 10 feet wide, this oval cave entrance with spikes coming out of it. You can all give me a religion check as you see it for the first time. 10 from Onyx, 5 from Swift.
18 for Guruth.
Ruth. Okay. I'll start off with the description for Guruth, unless Ronnie is more of studious than his compatriots. As you stare off towards this, there's something that strikes towards you that you remember in a children's tale.
Mm.
Picture books that you use for children. You think you've seen it. Some of the more not derelict. Some of the children that were a little bit more disadvantaged that were being taught by your sensei that he took in. They had kind of just a scrapyard of just kids' books, coloring books, and other just things to kind of teach them about the world and give them some inspiration. And you recognize what looks to be almost identically the crown of Poseidon, resting atop through jagged rock, beautifully formed in the side of this cliff face. Something that cannot exist naturally, cannot exist for very long, and it is pristine. There's no algae that is touching it. The algae that does form around it, around the base of the cave, does make it look like kind of a floating, swaying beard. And it fills you with a little bit of warmth of just, this will be a cool story.
Yeah, he kind of tilts his head to the side, squints a little bit as it kind of rings a bell in the back of his head, and as he kind of puts 2 and 2 together, he just goes, Doesn't say anything, he just recognizes it and registers.
As the four of you look amongst each other, what would we like the marching order to be? Who would like to go first? And it will require an acrobatics check to bounce between the rocks. These slippery rocks.
Your boy's got to go first.
All right. Go ahead, Red. What does Guruth roll?
Oh, no. It's going to be a 9. Rocks are
Guruth, a little bit more adventurous than the rest of the compatriots, decides to take a quick step out and then immediately does not get proper traction and then lands on his knee, taking 1 point of bludgeoning damage and some ego damage, honestly. As you immediately begin to catch yourself, give me a dexterity saving throw so you don't fall into the pool of water.
All right, for dex save, that's going to be... We're up to a great start. That's a nat 1.
Just sliding past the algae, you guys see Guruth just descend below the waves. Some time goes by. Ronnie, is there something
Can we
you'd
do
like to
anything?
are watching
I'm
it.
going to use forget about the voices. I'm going to use shape water to assist with that and turn it to ice so he doesn't drown.
Okay. So as Guruth slips into the water, there's this sudden moment as you your body reacts to the cold air and you begin to kind of take an inhale and you're like, oh God. And the coldness of your back begins to get formed and shaped up. You can give me a charisma check, Ronnie, as you cast a spell for the first time.
Oh my goodness. Hang on.
Can I ready an action while he's doing that?
Absolutely.
My instinct was to toss my whip to see if I could catch him.
Excellent.
21. Now, and since Ronnie is technically a bard, he pulls out a lead pipe that is makeshift into a recorder. It does not sound good.
The shrill spike of notes enter the air as a iceberg emerges, miniature, about the size of Guruth, and plops him out into this space that's between all these rocks. This crevice between this area now makes it way easier to just simply walk across this area, and you guys can, or y'all can just comfortably stroll. Guruth, you were reminded, what's your constitution modifier?
It is +1.
You are reminded, I believe, that you can hold your breath for 2 minutes underwater.
Yeah. As I kind of like get some of the water off and go, right. It's a little slick. Be careful.
Yeah. Everyone
Kinda
has
Mighty
to
good first
dips
impression.
his shoulders a little bit. Clearly, ego's a little hurt there, but continues on a little more carefully this time.
And the four of you can now make your way into the cave proper. Your first challenge successfully beaten. So, what is the
I'm
marching
never good
order?
at jumping puzzles in Destiny.
Guruth, are you planning on going first?
Oh,
Still?
of course. Oh yeah.
Oh,
Guruth
okay.
is first, all the way.
Using roll 20, let's align people with Guruth at the top of the spear.
I do not have
I'm
access
happy to remain at the back.
Ronnie
Controlled
will go
by-
second.
Yes. Sorry about that.
Thank
Okay.
you.
Yeah.
There we go.
Not everything's going to run smoothly. Alrighty, as Ronnie scurries behind Guruth, the four of you begin to slowly enter into this cavern. It's not as naturally formed as it looked from the outside. The section that you guys are currently walking on in the center of this chamber looks like it was once a part of a very well-crafted floor, and the edges look like they've been wore away by erosion over time as water trickles out of this cave, presumably from in front of you. Four of you have dark vision. We have a ratfolk, an orc, a tiefling, and a tabaxi. So the four of you, it's damp, it's a little uncomfortable, but you can easily see in front of you a good 60 feet, each of you. Would you guys like to have any additional light sources or anything else in preparation entering this cave?
I'm curious what I'd need to roll to see if I can understand how these things are structured and built. As some farmer background, some soldier background, what would you like me to roll for that?
You can give me a history check. And if you were a dwarf, you would have expertise, because stone cutting is amazing. But, yeah, history check. Okay.
It's a 17.
Very, very smooth lines like this have been passed down through the generations of different clans and different organizations. So it's definitely doable to tunnel in this area. Is a lot of information that's been lost with time to like do it this smoothly and this easily. And you can see that there appears to be some nice kind of like lattice work worked into the stone that hasn't eroded as well, as you're paying attention to some of the fine lines. This cave is quite old. You all can roll a nature check to try and figure out how old you think it could be, looking at the amount of erosion in this duration of time.
Oh, okay. I got scared there for a minute. I was looking at Onyx's number. I was like, come on, I should be able to do better than that.
Yeah, Swift,
Yeah.
as you
17 for Gruth as well.
and Swift, as you move forward, you're looking down at the rock. This amount of erosion of this type of stone, even if it's salt water, would take a couple thousand years, like long before the first colonizers or settlers from Beridia arrived here. All the Humanic tribes that came here about like 600, 700 years ago, give or take.
Mhm.
And they claim that there wasn't a lot of people that actually lived in this area when they arrived. Don't know if that's true, but that's what their history books say. And yeah, this might be, you'd probably say, older than 2000, before like the age of post convergence is your guys' numbering system right now. You're in about 1430 post convergence, the very first time that all the planes collided and modern arithmetic and calendars began. And you ponder this. Would you like to share this type of information with the rest of the party?
He will say something along the lines of, this has been here for a while. Somewhat of around 2,000 or so years, maybe, give or take. That's about all he'll provide.
Lovely.
Is there any sign of life or anything threatening in the immediate vicinity?
You can give me a survival check. You guys are having this conversation probably about 5 minutes into walking, to the point that you
15.
look back. 15. And as you look back, you could have sworn it's just been a straight path, but you do not see a pinprick of light anymore. You are deep inside this almost like train tunnel that's quite tight. It's only about 8 or so feet wide, but the walking path is quite narrow. And in this immediate vicinity, you see some signs of lichen. Every once in a while, you see that there's like a tiny bud of what looks to be a luminescent mushroom, and maybe the occasional guppy that is hanging out, kind of struggling a little bit in some shallower water that has been pushed in from the tide. And about another 5 or so minutes go by. And another 5, about 15 minutes in, you guys, or you all realize that your ankles are now in water, in salt water. As the tide, you see ripples coming from behind you, explaining why you had to be up so early this morning and why it appears as though it's quite a tight time frame. Don't know how much farther you have to go.
Keep on pushing.
Might as well.
The only
Don't see
thing
anything
that you
useful.
can think to do, the 4 of you trek further and further into the darkness. Do any of you have the keen mind feat? You can all give me an intelligence check to try and keep track of time.
15.
Checks out.
And for Ronnie, you guys begin to push pretty close to 2 hours. Just walking. The rest of you are getting a little annoyed. It's been about a half hour, 45 minutes. It feels like the silence and not really necessarily communicating with the party is starting to kind of get to you. And now at this point, the water is starting to get difficult to tread through. you might have to have a plan if you begin to become underwater.
Swift is not having it. He's not happy with being in the water, so he's just gonna yell, "Let's see how fast we can get out of here. I don't want to be stuck here."
So
How heavy is Swift?
How heavy is he? Let me double check. 110 pounds.
If it comes down to it, you get up on my back if you're uncomfortable, all right?
Fair
Um,
enough.
I can
No, I agree. We should get
carry
faster.
2 rat.
Yeah, I suppose for Ronnie, it's not like getting past the knees. It's like
Yeah.
wading through
Yeah.
the water. Like it's past your belly button at this point.
So with that said, you know, abuse it because I can. Shape water, boost the current in our direction to kind of push us along.
Okay, interesting.
How tall is the tunnel, I guess, by the way?
I said it was oval, so it's probably a good 11, 12 feet tall at this current like size.
Okay, so there's enough room. Ronnie could probably stand on my shoulders if it comes to it.
Yeah, it might be a bit uncomfortable. You might have to dodge some growths in the ceiling, but absolutely.
That's his problem,
And
not mine.
Ronnie, you want to push the water current to speed you guys up, or do you want to shape ice so you guys can ride on ice the rest of the way?
Well, there's already a current coming in.
Yes. Relatively slow, but already a current.
And then how tall did you say the cave was?
About 12 feet. Give or take.
Yeah, sure, whatever. Let me just double check the spell. Like,
It's 5 foot cubes.
5 foot cubes?
Yeah.
So I guess if we can disperse that amongst 4 people.
All right, give me a charisma check as you try to create 4 Silver Surfer surfboards. I mean, generic gold creature surfboards. That's not copyright. Supposed to have.
Oops. Can you see those when I put on roll 20?
I can.
Okay, solid.
All right.
Solid, not solid.
4 of you see Ronnie kind of stop and like patches of ice start to sprout, and you guys try to stand on top of them, but they're way too slippery and they just flop out. Starts to get to the point where you're uncertain whether or not it is a good idea to try this, and it feels, you probably know, Ronnie, that it hasn't started to speed up, but the panic in the back of the rest of the party's brain is starting to make it seem like the room is filling quicker and quicker with water.
Yeah, well, I tried.
So the 4 of you start to venture forward. Ronnie gets pretty close to the point that you might have to get on the back of Guruth's shoulders. Then,
no.
About what is 3 hours in, feels like an hour and a bit to the rest of you. The ceiling curves down, and the water goes with it. You can kind of see through. It's relatively still. It's relatively clear. You see that the passage goes down into an open area down below. Beyond your guys' dark vision.
Time to go swimming? Yeah? No?
If we're risking going swimming, I'll light a torch and throw it as far as I can.
Let me. Do I have anything interesting?
You're gonna light a torch and throw it into the water?
more lateral distance. I want to see if I can get the light source as far as possible to see if there's anything that lights up before we go in the water anyhow.
Along
in
the ceiling.
The hopes. Yeah. If it can
Okay.
light any area of the surface of the water so we can see if anything's in it is kind of the goal.
Okay. That's pretty easy to do. You have your torches up high. You begin kind of shifting them, that and also your black powder container. You also have strapped up to the top of your shoulder. That is a waterproof. That is a waterproof bottle. I think. Haven't really tested it out. Very deep either. I can't imagine. But your son was very crafty in the assembly of it, and you trust him. So, you light a torch. Give me a strength check as you try to whip it. Probably a good 20, 25 feet.
14.
15. As it carries out, it ends up impacting the side of this wall. But as you're watching, 4 of you can all make perception checks. It's for the very first time this entire chamber is illuminated with bright light. 15. 9. 15. All right. Onyx, right before the tss, you see the reflection of the light at the bottom of the pool. The pool, you can tell, as I pull out the map that I have hand-drawn, but not on Roll20. Pool's probably 30 or so, 40 feet maybe, but littered at the bottom of this subterranean cavern glitters with different implements, likely gold, likely silver, just at the bottom of this pool, like a wishing well.
If I saw any...
The rest of you have difficulty with the light immediately casting into your eyes and go, why did you warn us?
Any shape of a figure of any creature, I'm firing my gun at it.
Don't see anything presently. And the glittering kind of distracted your eye line to see if there's anything else. It looked wider at the bottom. You guys are at the mouth of this subterranean cavern, and it descends out like a jug. You have to get down there to see if there's any other exits.
Girth, you want to make a better impression in your first one?
Yeah, I think I can try and make up for that.
Let's
I got you.
let's maybe
I'm gonna
hold
start
on.
makeshifting rope and any way to help him. Kind of do the whole tied up on his ankle if he's diving, that kind of thing.
I love low-level D&D ropes. Go ahead, Ronnie.
Before we do that, I'm going to cast Detect Magic. Like, was I able to
Interesting.
see the glittering and stuff? Yes,
With
no?
a 13 and Ronnie's experience subterranean, yeah, just barely. Just barely.
Alrighty.
You think there's something
There might be
down there,
something.
but you cast Detect Magic. All right, what does that look/sound like? While you're describing that, Onyx, please roll a survival check for the strength of the knot that you tie.
Can I assist with tying it around my ankle?
Yeah, you can get advantage there, Onyx.
Advantage, I got a 19. Let's see if I can get better. No, an
Team will
8.
do.
Alrighty, and Ronnie.
Just more really bad music from the recorder pipe.
He just mutters into the recorder. And for some reason, you see Ronnie's eyes shimmer. You put on your eagle sense, Ronnie, as you look down. The range of Detect Magic is 60 feet, or is it 30 feet? You're casting it as a spell, right? Or are you doing it as a ritual? You're currently muted.
It
Garuf.
is 30 feet, and yeah, I'm casting it as a spell. I don't
Okay.
believe I have the
So
material.
very quickly, you go to cast it as a spell. Guruth, you start to slowly descend into the pool?
Yeah, if the knot's tied, I'll kind of dive on in. I'll ease in first. See, like as soon as my head's under the water, I'll take a little initial look around to see if there's anything that might jump out at me, and then if it looks clear, I'll continue down.
Okay. And Ronnie, you scamper forward. You're not close enough. You start to see like faint traces, but you begin to dunk your head below the water surface with detect magic on, right as Guruth is descending as well. And you can make out that there are some twinklies in the water. Let's double check.
And as
Oh,
I'm
definitely.
dunking my head, I'm assuming I'm still playing the recorder and just bubbles.
It is a one action thing, but if you want, you can just be underwater. Yeah, so you see that littered amongst. It's interesting. Detect magic kind of shows the school of magic as a faint aura, I believe, casting off of it. But you see abjuration, and it kind of refracts and reflects off of the different gold and implements and other treasures at the bottom of this. And you also see that there's what looks to be a very beautiful bag that is tucked into what looks to be like a cavern at the far end of this pool. There's two items in particular that speak out to you besides the gold. And Guruth, as you dip your head below the water, please give me a perception check.
Yes, that is going to be 14.
14. Paying attention, you see that the surface of the floor here is very rough and metallic. There is a couple of shapes in the water that are still. One that is embedded in the rough coins, and then one that is at the far end of the room. But as you dip your head down, just as you dip your head down, that's all you see.
Okay, nothing for like entrances because I'm not really looking at the floor. I'm not too concerned about that. Even if I did see some of the golden stuff, I'm like, yeah, I'll get it on the way back.
You descend further down, and the entire roof descends with you a good 10, 15 feet. Slowly swimming closer and closer. Look around. There is, looks like maybe Ronnie would be able to squeeze through it. At the bottom far edge, there's a hole. A little bit above, after it dips down, you see that there is another chamber or another tunnel that's probably big enough for yourself to squeeze through. And then similarly to the way that it descended the ceiling, it ascends again. And you can see shimmering of water. So it looks as though this is a V dip to another chamber. But there's two other underwater caverns that have choke points, for lack of a better word. Do you have give me a stealth check.
Stealth check.
Yep.
It's mildly
Imagine
concerning.
you're like a lot of people in very dangerous situations, very calmly moving through this water and keeping an eye out and being careful.
Yes.
Okay.
But not stealthily. I'm a big guy. I'm splashing around all over the place with a solid 8 stealth check.
Yeah, you're kind of powering through Do you continue to the other side, or are you going to begin to head back to the rest of the party?
Am I at the two entrances I saw, or am I still swimming towards them?
You are at the tip of the V.
Okay.
Right now. You haven't descended lower. You haven't moved out. It's a good 10 feet to get to the eye line entrance, and then a good 25 diagonal to get to the other exit that leads above the surface.
Okay, and the eye line entrance was the smaller one, correct?
Was the medium-sized one, and then there's one way deeper that is Ronnie-sized.
Okay. Gotcha. All right. Yeah, I'll probably swim back, and once I get to the surface, all right. So there's...
As you begin to swim back.
Oh, goody.
You shift your body. You begin to slowly kick your legs closer and closer towards the surface. You hear... It's difficult underwater. You hear the sound of shifting of coins. Kick a little bit harder. Get closer and closer, and the line for you guys is getting slack. Get closer and closer and closer. You surface out of the water, and you see your compatriots.
Yeah, if I heard shifting on the floor, I'm just gonna, take a couple steps away from the edge.
You start to scramble back, trying to get your legs on some purchase out of the water. You're not likely wanting to tread. You do so.
Okay. All right, so it dips down a bit, and then I saw 3 entrances on the other side. There's kind of like a lower one, a medium one, and then one that goes back up above the water. There was a lower one that was smaller, so maybe you can check that out, Ronnie. But I also heard something. Maybe we should try and get everyone to the other side, and then we can come back and check the school out or something.
What do you mean you heard something?
I don't fully know. It wasn't super clear, but I thought I heard some sort of shifting, and I never went close to the floor or anything, so I don't think it was me. I just swam far enough to see the other side, and then I turned around to let you guys know, because time's of the essence. So I don't think it was me, but I heard something shifting in the water. We should be aware.
I whisper something under my breath in a language most of you probably don't know, but if you know Infernal, I'm casting the cantrip Thaumaturgy to get flames to flicker along the surface of the water, about 30 feet range, to see if that light on the surface can cast enough to see what's below.
That's a very cool use of thaumaturgy. You get a point of inspiration. You get a reroll throughout this session as you Onyx kind of trickles some of their liquor on the surface and then snaps their fingers and trail of fire, infernal fire, kind of lingers along the surface. I'm gonna for a brief moment. For a brief moment, you see something skittering. 6 or so legs, large chitinous body. Get out of range of light. You see
I'm gonna fire at
coins kick up. All right, roll to hit. It is in the water, so roll at disadvantage. Bang! And you guys are all in a cave, so it is loud.
Disadvantage. 19
Yes.
at disadvantage.
19 at disadvantage. It is. What is the primary range of your firearm?
It's between 80 and 320 is the furthest. 80 is the
Is
closest.
the furthest. All right, so up to 80 feet underwater is how underwater combat works. You bang, and you land a shot on this thing. Mythbusters be damned, the bullet penetrates the water because this is fantasy, and it impacts the creature. Roll damage as you see a spurt of purple blood begin to trickle out.
Seven.
Right. 7 points of piercing damage. Alrighty. That's good. You landed a shot on this thing. It definitely exists. And you guys see the proof of blood. You don't know if it's hostile, but it might be now.
Might be now.
It bleeds. It doesn't
What
matter.
would the
if it's
four of you
hostile.
like to do?
Swift's gonna turn to Onyx and say, "What the hell did you do that for? You're gonna alert everyone that we're here."
I thought I already did that with the fire and the torch.
At least those were quieter. That thing's a noisemaker. I don't like it.
How-
Listen, kitty, if you've got better ideas in your roguelike state, go climb some walls across and get us somewhere then. If you got a better idea, you do it.
Did I see how big did this thing look in the water?
What's your passive perception?
12.
It is a large creature.
Large, okay.
It's bigger than you,
Ah,
probably from across its body. It's bigger than you, including its arms. It's much larger.
Well, maybe maybe we can lure this thing a little bit closer. Preferably not with a live body. But I'm open to options.
Do you say
want a
this
fish
from
for it?
someone's back because it is now getting to the point that the water level is past your shoulders, Ronnie?
Preferably not me. As he's like the water is like right at his neck.
I ain't much for spells. That's about all I got. Does anybody have any communication through mind or anything?
Nope.
Then we just gotta go swimming.
yeah. Doesn't seem like we've got much of a choice. I'm not a very magic-y person, if you couldn't tell. As Guruth pulls a dagger out and kind of eases his way back in, seeing if he can maybe not be a super obvious first target.
Okay, so are you attempting to enter stealth?
Yeah, we'll give it a shot. What the hell?
Okay. Is everybody attempting to enter stealth?
Yeah,
Yes.
no, it doesn't
Yeah.
matter.
Or is it
Sure.
just going to be Guruth going in?
Sure. Let's do it.
Okay.
By stealthy, I mean I didn't belly flop in.
I'll stay above as long as I can until I have to go in, but I'm readying another fire.
Okay. You're holding your action. You've reloaded. You're holding your action with your gun ready, trying to get any perspective. I
Rolls.
will. I know, right? I will draw a line for where you no longer have line of sight. Outside of that, Onyx cannot keep covering fire as you guys descend. All right. With Guruth first, and then Ronnie following, the three of you attempt to quietly descend. It needs to beat the average sub 14. Okay. Three of you slowly start swimming in. Do you still have the rope around your ankle, Guruth, that Onyx has the other end of?
I never untied it, so I would assume yes.
Okay.
And I'm not gonna swim out like past it. I just wanted to like swim down, get in the water, and try and I wanted to get down in a position to maybe try and lure it towards us.
Okay, so you are looking to just get lower and lower. All right. So we'll say that's lower for the sake of, this is going to mostly be theater of the mind. I wasn't sure if this was going to be combat. But the three of you slowly descend, holding your breath. Are you attempting to lure, or are you attempting to stay hidden?
Has it taken notice of any of us yet that we know?
You have seen no movement. It appears to have re-entered stealth. Give me a perception check, the three of you.
13.
I got a 10. It could sneak up behind me, and I probably would only notice it at the very last moment.
Yeah, for three of you, you are all being quiet, you think? You think it's being quiet? You might be able to sneak past? There's no movement.
Yeah, if it's disappeared, we're not seeing anything, then I'll probably gesture and just try and carry on stealthily around to the upper tunnel on the other side.
Okay. The three of you start to move. One by one, they go out of your eye line, Onyx. Onyx, what's the plan?
Once it's about 40 feet, because it's only a 50-foot rope, I'd imagine that's as far as the distance will go, and I'm jumping in after them.
Hey, are you going to attempt to do so quietly?
If it gets to that point where it's towards the end of the rope and I start to feel the slack being taken up, I'll just kind of grab it and I'll give it 3 quick tugs.
Okay. Give me a stealth roll, Onyx. You are your own pod. Okay.
10.
You start to slowly get into the water. You pack your pistol into a waterproof case. It's ready to fire once you get it out of it. As you enter the water for probably the first time in a while since you've been in a pool, usually.
Yeah, I'm not, for lack of a better phrase, pussyfooting around this thing. I feel the tugs and I jump in, and I'm gonna swim. I've got some pretty heavy, bulky clothes on,
yeah.
But I'll swim as fast as I can, as stealthy as I can at the same time.
Okay. Corner of your eye, Onyx, you see movement. You can try to swim this thing.
That's right. Quick
rush out of the water. Go
reference. Is the rope tied to you at all at your end, or were you just holding it?
No, I tied it around my waist.
Okay.
Hey, excellent. Alrighty. You think that there's something else in there with you. You saw it shift out of the corner of your eye, but you can't lock onto it, especially as you get underwater. The light that's kind of dancing and trickling is pushing shapes up on the wall and making it quite difficult to get past all this glittering as you're submersed. You see the rope kind of going under the V and going off, the kicking, the bubbles descending behind your party 40 feet away. Are you going to break stealth?
No, I'm swimming, falling as fast as I can.
Bonnie and Swift begin to get to the tension of Guruth's rope. And Guruth, you feel a sudden, violent jerk from the other end. Does a 25 hit you, Onyx?
Absolutely.
A shooting rush of pain through your side and your other thigh, on your left side and on your right thigh, as you feel the cracking of some of your ribs. You take 12 points of bludgeoning damage as you look, shifting around. We will move the three of you out so you are 30 feet.
That would be an instant reaction of hellish rebuke.
Yes, it would be. Alrighty, let's make sure that you are 40 feet away from Guruth, so we are not pussyfooting around this thing as this giant crustacean, its mandibles, tentacles, are reaching out towards you. The pincer grasping you with its claws, and Guruth, you get pulled back 5 feet. And the rest of you can hear struggling in the water. I need everybody to roll initiative.
All right.
How many points of damage did you say that was?
I said 12 points of bludgeoning damage.
And I take it we never got close enough to like the other side.
As you see,
Wee mama.
is
It's an ugly bugger.
Face only a mother could love.
Great art.
Yes. Alrighty.
Right, so did we were still within the chamber? We never made it far enough to get to the other
not
side
yet.
first? No? Okay.
You guys are not out of the water just yet. It is a more or less a 40-foot straight line between y'all and Onyx. We won't do much of the... All right, 25 to 20. Ronnie, what'd you get?
I got a 12.
12 for Ronnie. 16 for Onyx. Swift is a 6. And Guruth is a 10. I believe surprised condition works that the person that is surprised does not get a reaction. However, as it snaps back into the top of initiative, I'll give you your reaction right before your turn here as the initiative counter hits 20, and you cast Hellish Rebuke on this monstrous crustacean. That is a dexterity saving throw, if I remember correctly.
Yes, DC 11.
Okay. That is a 18, so I believe it's halved damage to this creature.
And the damage was 18, so take 9.
Take 9. It is submersed in water, so it takes half fire damage as well, so it takes 4 damage.
Wee.
You see the bubbling and the pinkening of the shell as it rages towards you. It is now your turn, Onyx.
Well, I can't take a deep breath, so I reach for the closest
that
thing
reminds
to
me. Please give me a Constitution saving throw to not let air escape your lungs. All right,
21.
you're fine.
Closest thing on me, I grab my dagger. I'm gonna stab it.
All right, roll to hit.
Nah, it's only 7.
It's a 7. You try to grab it, but the hilt is past where one of its claws is currently grabbing you. Up next in initiative, if that's your turn, you still have a bonus action, I believe.
Does my reaction not count as that bonus action?
No, it does not. It is separate from your turn.
I said I didn't have anything. Yeah, no. I'm good. Well, I got 2-weapon fighting. Does that mean I can...
You do not have a
attack
weapon in
again,
your
or-
offhand yet.
Right.
For the future, if you want to walk around a room like that, absolutely. But up next, it is now Ronnie Ratman's turn.
Am I close to Guruth?
You are touching distance from Guruth.
Perfect. Let me make sure I know how the spell works before I actually jump into it.
With
And I just
Shul
love
and then
doing-
Guruth on deck.
Yeah.
Oh, wait a second. We're in combat. That means we can do
Danger
combat music.
Okay. Oh, perfect.
All right, that is bleeding through.
Yeah.
Alrighty.
Hey, I'm
If,
gonna use.
if it's not your turn, please mute yourself just for ease of music. Alrighty. Ronnie.
I'm going to use enhance ability on Guruth, Bear's Endurance. You have advantage on con checks, and you also gain 2d6 temporary hit points.
Nice. Are you rolling that or am I?
Ronnie can roll them because it is something that he's casting on you.
6. There we go. You have 8 temp HP,
Beautiful.
and how far away am I from the creature?
You're a good 40
I
feet, give or take.
Yeah, no, I could have done that myself. I'm going to. That's my turn.
Righty. Right after that, it is now the Chul's turn. The Chul with Onyx in its claws currently. It currently has Onyx grappled as it has landed one of its claw attacks. It's now going to use its tentacle attacks as you see the reach out towards your face. I need you to give me a Constitution saving throw, Onyx. And as the tentacles invade your nostrils and your ears, you feel this pulse of numbness as you find that you are poisoned for the next minute and you are currently paralyzed. Your body affixes and stays still, but that also means that you do not open up your lips or let any of the air escape your lungs quite yet. This creature is now going to attempt to crush you further. That is another 25 to hit, as you are currently held in place. That will be an additional 10 points of bludgeoning damage as you feel the other section of ribs crack. Immediately after that, it is now Guruth's turn. You hear struggle going on, and you're hearing metal and bone just shatter in the water. And I've asked you to mute yourself. It's bit me in the butt.
I'm gonna swim. I have 15 feet swim speed, I believe.
Yes.
Yeah. So puts me there. Just out of range. God damn it. I guess I will spend a key point to do Step of the Wind.
Yeah, you will.
Yes, because monk shit. Put me there, and then I'm going to throw a dart at it.
Okay, roll to hit. Just a straight roll.
Yeah.
I believe a straight roll for a dart underwater.
It is, yes. That is going to be a 25 to hit.
That certainly hits this Chul. Roll some damage, sir.
Nice. So that is a 24.
Stacks, yeah.
How about 6 damage?
6 damage, all right. See it plop into a section between its chitinous shell, and you see the spurt of purple bluish ink. For reference, in my games, when a creature is bloody, meaning it's below half health, I will give it the half heart modifier. Players are welcome to do the same if they would like to alert their fellow compatriots that they're in a lick of trouble. Is that all for your turn, Girth?
That's all
What
I
you
got for now, yeah.
Okay, Swift, it is now your turn.
Okay, and what was the speed for this being underwater?
It is half your walking speed.
Okay. So actually, I can go ahead and use my feline agility
Yeah, you can.
so that I can move my full range, which is 30 feet. So 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, right there. You get right up in this guy's face.
Live up to your name.
And I'm gonna smack him with my short sword.
Righty. And with a 17 to hit, I believe you stab straight through this creature. You have an ally within 5 feet, so you get to add your sneak attack damage.
Okay, so there's the damage. Oops, wrong button. And then sneak attack.
So the piercing will be the 8, and then I believe it says sneak attack right below that, but is that just
Oh, it
rolling a
actually did.
1d6? Okay, so we'll use the first roll.
Okay.
Neat.
I
neat
didn't
you
see
can
that, I'm
include that
sorry.
in. Everyone should use Roll20 for their D&D experiences. All right, you deal 11 points of damage as you, like the wind underwater, like a current, you slice into the belly of this creature. And it lets out a monstrous scream. Something more cool than that. All right, is that your turn?
Yes, that is my turn. I only have one attack per turn.
Alrighty. Up next in initiative at the top of the round, it is back to Onyx. Onyx, I believe you're paralyzed. But at the end of your turn, I believe you can make a saving throw to avoid being paralyzed any further. You can make another Constitution saving throw. Oh, and you're
22.
fine. You bite your tongue, the one muscle that you can move currently, and you manage to regain control of your fingers and begin to struggle against this creature. Glad you have not lost any of your precious, precious oxygen. But at the end of your turn, it is now back to Ronnie Ratman.
Ronnie is gonna move 10. Oh, wrong tool. 10 feet closer, and then Toll the Dead. Give me a wisdom save.
Okay. 19.
All right. Well, my spell save's 13, so you pass.
Okay. Anything else? Bonus action?
Wait. Hang on. Bardic Inspiration. 60 feet. I'm going to give Onyx Bardic Inspiration. You hear bubbly screams of indiscernible language coming through the water.
This shrill tone like smelling salt to your ears. Go ahead.
That's everything.
Okay. And then right after that, it is back to the Chul's turn. The Chul is going to, now that it does not believe that it can affect, let's do that action rock once again with the sick guitar. Has two creatures in front of it. It is going to take a swipe at Swift. That is a 16 to hit you, Swift.
That does hit.
All right, and then we have a 22 to hit Onyx.
Oh no, I
Oh,
don't
what,
have that yet. Oops. I thought I had a certain move, but I don't.
Uncanny dodge, rogues. Alrighty.
Yeah. You don't
The
have
other
that.
arm comes crashing down towards Swift's legs and grabs him, dragging him down, dealing 14 points of bludgeoning damage, and then similarly banging Onyx into Swift, taking a similar amount, 14 points of bludgeoning damage. That is the Chul's turn. The Chul is going to, I believe...
Was that 14 for me as well?
Yeah, 14 for you as well. I need both of you to give me Constitution saving throws. The Chul is going to...
I don't think I need to do a con save because I'm unconscious now.
And with that,
Just before
Onyx,
I go unconscious, you may have noticed, anyone who is watching me, that I look quite surprised that you all came back to help me, and especially at Bardic Inspiration. I don't know if Bardic Inspiration can help me at all with that going unconscious thing, or my inspiration I got earlier in this session.
You can use it to do rerolls, and you can use Bardic Inspiration to add to rolls. There is definitely the possibility that you are not down or out. However, currently, you fall unconscious beneath the water. You can use your... I believe you have a last reaction if you'd like to use it before you possibly go dark.
I do.
If you'd like to use that, that's a once per day type thing.
I'm new to it. Give me a second. Okay.
The moments flash before Onyx's eyes as right as he is leaving his homestead. It's difficult to sneak up on Onyx, but it's really hard for Lariat as he is constantly in between coughs, leaving his room. Just, hey, Dad, before you go on your over the weekend grocery trip, I thought you might need some protection. And I was reading Bang magazine, the zine that I subscribe to, and I found out that you don't need matchlock anymore. So I made this little gizmo, and he pulls out a small, what looks to be a firearm, handheld, like hand cannon. He goes, see, the cool thing about this is that you can like actually have like flint and like spark, and like that locks into this mechanism and it hits the flash pan, and he begins kind of regaling you, and he goes, and I added like a few more buttons, like naturally you and me. See, it's not as well described because, you know, like the Artificer zine's a little bit more recluse. I haven't gone onto their mailing list yet, but I think your passive magical ability can get siphoned slowly without hurting you. I think you can have access to your abilities like a second time, maybe. And he shows you a few different mechanisms, some that allow you to have enhanced endurance going off of your fighter trait, and then also one that is a secondary use of your hellish rebuke or your second wind. So, excuse me. So, as you think of this moment, you think about Lariat having a look out for you, and you press the button that injects you in the hand and wakes you back up, giving you back 9 hit points as you use second wind as a reaction. The one charged up ability in this weapon for the day, you do not fall unconscious. And after that, it is now Gurth's turn.
All right, and I'm seeing this correctly. It drags both Swift and Onyx a little further away.
Yes, it does.
Of course it did.
Hmm.
That changes what I was going to do. So 5, 10, 15, and he gets another dart.
Mm-hmm. Roll to hit, sir.
Ooh. I don't think that's going to hit with a 11.
Unfortunately, no. You see that
Yeah.
it brings up its claw and it bounces harmlessly off of it.
Mm.
Also, I do have a question real quick. What about my constitution was an 8.
What's your constitution modifier is a 2, so you normally start off with 3 minutes of air. You now have 2 minutes of air. For every constitution save that you fail after receiving damage, I believe it's equal to, the save DC is equal to the damage that you take, you lose 1 minute of air. If you lose all your remaining minutes of air, you have 1 turn left of air. And then after that, you become drowning and go unconscious.
Okay.
Good way to introduce this before you guys get any further. I believe that was Gurth's turn. Swift, it's back at you now.
He's not very happy for obvious reasons. Let me see. You know what? I'm going to start being swiftly again. So first things first. Being mad, he's going to go ahead and try and hit the guy again.
All right, roll to hit.
Another 11.
That is a 17 to hit once more, and another 11 points of damage. Alrighty. Stacking it up.
Yeah, he's going to use his bonus action, cunning action.
Okay.
He's going to move right there, try and stay out of the way of the monster's grasp.
So you're using your bonus action to
Disengage and move away.
disengage. You're currently grappled, so give me an acrobatics check as you try to escape the hold of this creature. Yeah, you're fine. You're able to kick away, leaving some room for Gurth. You guys have noticed that the creature has backed itself into a corner, so it'll likely not be able to run away too much further. Is that your turn, Swift?
That is my turn.
Okay, back to you, Onyx, with a new lease on life.
Yeah, no kidding. So I gained some of my ability to move back, yeah?
Yes, you now have full range of motion.
It's gonna get this thing an attack of opportunity, but I ain't got much choice.
You're currently grappled, so you'll have to give me a athletics or acrobatics check to get out of its grapple.
Alright.
And as you begin to attempt to move, you do not go anywhere.
It's
I'm
a
gonna use
very
that
strong
reroll now.
crustacean.
You're going to use that reroll? Okay.
Yeah.
And
19.
with that, you can break free. It's going to take an opportunity attack unless you use the disengage action.
Yeah, I'll disengage.
So you,
Hi, Papa.
flexing your biceps underwater, you shift out and then jump down, and then you kind of kick up and swim away, and you give Guru the look of just, please take this away. And he looks up for it, like really, really like, you can see
Ready
that
for
like,
tango. He's ready
yeah.
for a little dance. It's,
he's ready to go for it.
not his preferred
The
environment.
audience would probably appreciate knowing I'm seeing a lot of my son in Guruth right now.
All right, right after that, now it is Ronnie's turn.
Okay.
Sorry, real quick, Onyx, are you moving away at all with that disengage action, or are you just staying right there?
Yeah, I don't know how far I can move if it's,
Half your speed, so you can go
Yeah, so it
15
should be
feet.
15, yeah.
And each square is 5.
I think that's as far as I can go.
You can go one more. So you went 2. Gorgeous. And Ronnie, now back to you.
Okay. Let's. Ronnie's gonna move up to here. Toll the Dead. Give me another wisdom save.
Oh, that is a 3. Please roll damage, and it has taken damage, so I believe it's a D12.
It's a D12 now. That. Bonk. Solid 12 damage.
It makes a shrill shriek noise, only that can come from a shrimp-like creature, and it is now bloodied.
That was my turn too.
Okay. Right after that, it is now the Chul's turn. It is going to enrage, strike out towards Garuth, I believe.
Give it to me. See what you got.
That is a 17 to hit,
That does hit.
and then a 18 to hit. So it closes the distance real quick, going up to you, and then just one on your torso and one on your legs. That'll be 13 points of bludgeoning damage on the first attack, and another 10 on the second.
23. All right.
23 points of damage. However, at the end of that, it is now your turn, Garuth, and you're in melee with it. You're grappled, but you're in melee.
Wait, so I have the grappler feat. I only do 1d4 damage if I'm grappling him, correct?
I believe you do 1d4 damage because you're a monk.
Well, no. So, as a grappler, I automatically, at the start of my turn, do 1d4 damage to anything I'm grappling.
Yes, so you'd have to grapple it
Yes.
to do
okay,
the
that's
damage
what I
automatically.
figured. All right. Well, I will. I'm gonna stab it with my dagger, I guess.
Hey, sounds good. Roll to hit.
That is a 19 to hit.
Oh, that hits. Roll some damage.
Excellent. 4, so that is 5 damage.
Okay. Definitely bleeds a little more. Do anything else?
Yes, for my bonus action, I guess I will make a unarmed strike at disadvantage, I would assume.
Nope, it's just regular because it's
Really?
fists underwater.
Okay. Hell yeah.
Yep.
Decent. That's going to be does a 16 hit?
It does, just barely. You've discovered its AC.
Nice. All right. I like that. Give me what's my That is a +5 to damage. So that's going to be 10 damage.
Alrighty. I believe you have. You could do more. Are you going to choose to do more? Or are you going to stick it out?
Can I do more? I don't think I can.
Do you have any more key points left?
I do, but I've already used my bonus action.
Yeah, you can use a key point to make your bonus action 2 unarmed strikes instead of the 1 if you'd like.
So just 1 additional strike.
Yeah.
I'll
Yes,
save it
kick
for now.
that crab in the nards.
I'll save it.
Thank you, chat. All right, holding on to it and being a very wise monk, we're now moving on to Swift.
5, 10, 15. Time to smacky smacky.
All right, you go to smacky that crabby. Roll to hit, please.
The hay?
That is a 7. So as you swing past it, you see that it carves sparks underwater. Yeah. And
Okay.
impacts the stone to the side of the cave.
So, quick question. Is there like any stone areas around here?
That you would potentially like to hide behind?
Correct.
Yes, there is some stalagmites that are on the ground surrounding some of the area. Probably a good 10 feet away from where you currently are.
So I'm going to use my cunning action again to try and hide.
Okay. You are in melee with the creature, so you can attempt to hide at disadvantage. It is a 3D space, so I'll let you play around with that a little bit, but you'd have to leave its area of attack to have a standard roll for a stealth check. You'd have to provoke an opportunity attack, essentially.
I won't go try it at a disadvantage. Let's see. Normally I have decent luck.
Okay.
14.
27 and a 14.
20.
Okay.
14.
All right. So a 14, it's passive perception. Let's double check that number. Not looking at.
I would have loved that natural one though.
As you think you're hidden, you don't know for certain.
Okay.
I'll give you the little ninja mask. Alrighty. Right after that, it is now Onyx's turn once again.
How am I doing for air at this point?
You've passed your con saves. You have a constitution modifier of 1?
4.
4. You have 5 minutes of air normally. I'd say you probably have 4 left. 4 out of the 5. You've managed to maintain your checks for the hits that you've taken, I believe.
Man, I sure want to help. I don't want to get close to this thing. There's not much I can do underwater, hey? Ranged attack wise.
There is daggers, javelin, short sword, spear, trident. Anything that's ranged that you might have on you. That first range is its maximum range.
And I got 15 feet, 20 feet.
Oh, I believe daggers are at disadvantage. The things that are not are spears, tridents, darts, crossbow, net.
No, even I've got 0 technology other than my gun. Thank you for your patience.
Absolutely. Currently are watching Swift kind of duck down into the shallows and the darker parts of the water and get underneath the Chewel as Girth is just broad-chested, serious, focusing.
And this
with
thing
all
looks
of his might.
bloodied, eh?
Yes, it is. Excuse me.
I want it to die as quick as possible. I'm going to get in there again.
Righty. You rush forward. What you gonna do?
I will try stabbing it again.
Okay.
17.
17 does hit. Roll some damage.
3.
Okay. 3 points of piercing damage. Is there anything else that you would like to do on your turn?
Might as well use that action surge.
Okay.
My original one I get as a fighter.
Yes.
And stab it again.
Gorgas. 19 with your dagger. Roll some damage.
And 2.
2 more points of damage. Are you using your dex on your dagger?
Just clicking the button, sir.
Okay. What's your dex modifier?
0.
Okay. Alrighty. Right after that, it is now Ronnie's turn.
Could I have used the bonus action, the 2-weapon fighting for that instead of action surge? Just out
Yes,
of
you could
clarity?
have. And then you can get a third
Okay.
attack.
Okay. Can I keep my action surge for another time then?
Yes. Yes.
Okay, thank you.
Now I have a question for you.
I'm here with an answer.
Vicious Mockery is completely verbal.
Yeah.
How does that work underwater?
You lose a minute of air.
Okay. Toll the dead. Keep it going.
Okay. Keep the train a rolling. That's a 5. It takes a d12 of damage. Please roll that damage.
You know what? I'll do it on here.
Found 4 combat
There you go.
songs, and they're all under 2 minutes.
Royalty
All right,
free.
9 points of damage. This
I'm
thing's
picturing
looking rough.
Instead of a bell, this thing's just like a giant spectral lead recorder just playing your notes.
He's just hitting it with a lead pipe recorder. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, yeah.
It's making a bit of a ringing noise.
Yeah.
Ooh, alrighty. Right after that, it is now, if that's your turn, Ronnie,
Yep, that is everything. I'm keeping my distance from this thing.
is the Chul's turn. It is going to go for the thing that is the main threat and the thing that hit it just last. So the thing that is the main threat is Gruth. That already has in its clutches. That is a 23 to hit. And then for Onyx, that'll be a 24 to hit. I am rolling very well tonight. On Gruth, that is 10 points of damage, bludgeoning damage.
Okay.
And similarly for Onyx, that is 10 points of crab damage.
That I am-
Unconscious again, sir.
As Onyx loses the light in their eyes, begins drowning. Alrighty, right after that, you guys are right next to the other water area that you can get brought up to. That's closer. That's only about 20 feet away from the water's surface, as you guys are kind of deep down here. But what type of armor are you wearing, Onyx?
Chainmail.
Yeah, Onyx doesn't really begin to float much, just kind of hangs out at the space as the air escapes his lungs. Right after that, it is now Gruth's turn. You see the dire situation that you're in.
I'm gonna punch it. Actually, yeah, no, it doesn't matter. So my first attack, ooh, that is definitely going to hit with a 23.
Yes, it does.
And so first attack is going to be, that's only 5 damage for the first attack. Now I'm
Points
going to
damage?
spend, yes. Now
Okay.
I'm going to spend a key point. Bop, bop.
Hey, roll the bops.
Second attack is going to be a 22 to hit.
It definitely hits. Roll some damage. We'll see if you need
That
to spend
one.
that key point.
Ooh, I like that. Is 10 damage.
How do you want to do this?
All right, so as I'm like seeing this thing and I'm like lashing around, I kind of like hook my hand under one of its like hard shell plates, peel it back, and I just jam my fist in there.
Lovely. You have a flashback to your training as you're standing there with your sensei, looking into a pillar of rock that he's demanded that you just hit over and over again in the same spot. He's just staring at you and goes, "The wind and the water do not change where they land. They keep hitting the same spot and the rock moves." And you crack into the sternum of this creature and you pull out something vital, but I don't know how crabs work. You look over, you keep your key point, and within arm's reach, there is Onyx, bubbles escaping their lips, and you still have your full movement, the rest of your movement, and you are attached by rope.
Indeed. So yeah, I'm going to. I'll swim my 15 feet this way. And can I. So if I like grab the rope, kind of, so since it's 50 feet of rope, if I grab my like the extra 40 feet of it and leave like the 10 feet and then swim that way, would I be able to drag Onyx?
Yes, you can.
15
I'll
as well, or
absolutely
would it
allow
be-
that. You can just hook your arm around the shorter tension of rope, and you can drag Onyx's unconscious, but still alive body with you as you begin to trail towards the water's edge. Okay. After that, it's Swift's turn. Swift, are you going to do anything to aid your companion? The creature appears to be slain right above you. There is a bunch of gold on the floor. What would you like to do? You're currently muted, Swift.
Sorry, my husband's being kind of loud on his phone call.
Okay.
You said there was some money on the floor? Some gold on the
there's
floor,
some
rather?
coins, yeah.
Am I close enough to grab it without having to move?
No, you'll have to move around to grab coins.
Nope, he's going to...
Just a handful
already not
where you're
very,
standing.
Yeah, he's not very happy anyway because he's like soaking wet now. So 5, 10, 15, and he's going to try and help bring Onyx to the surface.
Okay, sounds good.
Am I correct in assuming we can't administer health potions underwater?
You haven't done it, but you can certainly try. It is now Onyx's turn. Onyx, you are bringing in water. I would like you to privately DM me a d20 roll for a death save. You can do so on Discord. Ooh. Alrighty. Ronnie, it's your turn. What would you like to do?
Healing word on Onyx. Get that out of the way.
Alrighty, bonus action. Roll a d4 and then add your charisma bonus.
Six.
Onyx, you wake up drowning. But you're at 6 hit points, and your 2 failed death saves out of 3, because you automatically take one every turn that you're drowning, are cleared, and you're back to 0 out of 3 failed death saves.
Do I intake water? How does that work?
You're starting to, there's water in your lungs, but you're awake and you're healed magically. Guruth and Swift, I would like both of you to give me athletics checks, aided by Onyx now. So the 3 of you to give me athletics checks as you all try to have a breakneck swim before Onyx passes out once again.
Sorry, you said assisted, so at advantage or just straight roll?
The 3 of you can give me straight rolls.
Okay.
So I got a 17.
Also a 17.
Gorgeous. And Onyx. As Onyx is in a bit of a difficult state, disoriented, and with the water full of lungs, 3 of you dragging and helping Onyx breach the surface over the course of the next round or so and throw him into the dark chamber as Onyx begins purging the water that was inside of himself. You're still alive, though. You're in about knee-deep water now. It's not as heavy on this end. And a similar
Not a
looking
great
tunnel.
first impression for me, neither.
I
You're
have a
still
question.
here.
And Ronnie, you can ascend and join everybody. Or the lot of you can find magic items and things and other treasures.
Yeah, okay. Where'd that bag go that I was able to
Spot, you have located it. So, because we are running a little short on time, I'm going to assume that you guys pass your investigation checks, take 30 seconds to grab a few things. The four of you, or the three of you.
While they do that, I would
go ahead.
actually just do a investigation check of the tunnel ahead of us, kind of get my bearings, because I'm not terribly concerned about the gold back towards the entrance. Not at the moment, anyways.
Chamber continues ahead of you. Past your dark vision. You can give me a perception check.
Perception, okay.
While that's going on, are we taking a breather? Can I take a breather? I'd like to write something down.
Say 8 for me.
Okay.
Really not perceptive.
As Guruth steps forward, and Onyx takes a bit of a break, you guys spend a breather's worth of time as you scrounge together some items, one of which looks to be a candle, a magic candle, and another of them appears to be a bag. Reaching your hand into the bag, everybody's familiar with this bag. Your arm keeps going. It is a bag of holding. You use the bag of holding to scoop up the miscellaneous amount of gold, of which, when you have the chance to spend it, is in the neighborhood of around 500 odd gold. But at this current point in time, it does not seem pertinent to count it, as you guys are currently on a job and have nowhere to place it. But give or take that ballpark. A candle. Are you guys spending a short rest?
Is that the intention, or?
It's up to you guys.
Onyx, you were the one that said you wanted a breather. Is that like a short rest breather or a quick no?
It's more of a narrative breather. I'm okay otherwise.
Onyx reaches into their bag, into another watertight compartment, and takes out. You can describe it how you like.
Well, I suppose it depends on how much attention everyone's paying on me. But,
You can do it while they're scrounging and searching, and it can be a quiet moment if you'd like.
in a moment of regret, I recall before entering something telling me to make a prayer, say a prayer, take some time, were some of the words we all overheard, and I chose not to do anything with that time. So now I take out a small scroll, could be a grocery list of sorts of some kind, and I, in my chicken scratch, write the words, just beat something big, might not survive the next one. I love you. Money's coming. And I put it away.
You use 15 words.
13 if I count it right.
You use 13 words, as the DM cannot do basic mathematics. And you are the future. You are teaching the future of our nation. So, as you sit there, the scene shifts. Someone just barely waking up to the sound of scratching as they roll out of bed, coughing, leaning over to what looks to be a rolled up paper tube with some scrounged up grass and other herbs and just a small kind of like flint lighting equipment. You see a young, bit darker skinned quarter tiefling breathing in herbs and smoking it. There's like a small tinkering station off to the left and a makeshift bellows that does not meet safety requirements. And up on the drafting table, same message transcribed from Lariat's father reaches him. I knew you weren't going for groceries, Dad. Kind of shifts and turns and looks towards hanging trident. You gonna help him, or gonna do the same thing that you did with Mom? And that's where we're gonna take a break. 5-minute break. And we'll jump back into it. Let's just check in with chat. How you guys doing? You guys having a good time? Is this fun narrative experience? I'll wait for the delay. Oh, thank you very much, our producer, who is entitled. Sorry, has to, under contract, write the word fun. So thank you all very much. We've enjoyed playing in front of all of you, and we'll be back in 5 minutes' time. And welcome back to tonight's episode of Poseiden's Promise. And we haven't done a lot of Poseidon-themed things. So we're going to get right on top of that, because that was the promise that we made tonight, is that we were going to talk about Poseidon. So, the four of you have spent a little bit of time in this dark, dank hallway on the other side of a V-neck shaped hole in the ground where you found a monstrous crab-like creature, just narrowly escaping and defeating it. No one passed out unconscious. Don't watch the first part. It's fine. Do you guys choose to take a short rest or just a slight breather narrative break?
I should correct myself that I said it was 13 and you were right, it was 15.
Love you can not count. Just for fun.
Well, if no one's going to take a short rest, then I'm going to cast.
We maybe should.
We maybe should.
Just saying, a couple of the fighters got a little beat up and bruised here. I know 2 of us are still bloodied, so should maybe do a little resty poo.
We could if you wish. I'm not opposed to it. I'm not feeling 100%, of course.
Here at Dirty 20 Gaming, we are totally open to admitting when we don't know something. So I'm new to Fighter. Tell me what I get with a short rest.
You get all of your abilities back. You get your second wind, you get your action surge, you get everything back. All your fighter
Heck,
abilities.
I'm napping
freaking
after
good.
that note.
Alrighty. So you guys can roll some of your hit die. You roll the hit die and you add your con mod and you heal that amount. I don't know. Ronnie.
Add an extra D6 to your healing, too. As Ronnie serenades you with a lead pipe.
And you just feel better. It's weird.
It was really off
Weird to
key, but I will
describe.
take the extra 1 hit point out of that. Thank you.
Do we roll that d6?
Let's let Ronnie roll it just to help out Guru.
Sure.
Ronnie in the atrium with a lead pipe. Absolutely.
Hey, I will take it.
Gorgeous. He maxed out with
Bless
a 6.
you and your
Chat.
off-key lead pipe fuckery.
Alrighty.
That was just to Guruth?
That was to
That's for
everybody.
everyone.
Everybody gets 6 hit points back because I believe as a bard ability, you get to have a song of rest or something of that note.
That is exactly it.
Who's wasted the last 5 years of their life playing D&D? Okay, has everybody rolled up hit points?
I don't know how to do that.
So as a fighter, I believe it's a D10. So you'd roll 1d10 and then add your con mod, and you can do that up to 4 times your player level amount. So you could roll a 6, add your +4, I think, for your con mod, or +1, and then that's the
And
number of
then-
hit points you get back.
Okay, so how many were we getting back from that whatever it was that Ronnie did?
6.
You just get 6 hit points. Flat.
Great.
I'm pretty sure bards are the
Ooh,
only
I'm
magic
maxed out
masters that don't get spell slots back from a short rest.
Do not think you get
Yeah.
short rest spell slots back.
I do get a key point back, though.
And monks get a bunch of stuff back. They actually get it back out on a half-hour meditation.
Mhm.
Because that makes sense. Okay. I will take this terrible thing off of Onyx. The four of you continue on in this dark hallway that definitely has sounds accompanied with it. So I will play the Catacombs audio, provided by Tabletop Audio. Tabletop Audio, when you can't find anything else. All right, so as you guys continue walking the next half hour, take.
Is the water still rising, or has it?
It is not on this side. It is at a comfortable, just below knee level for a lot of you that are hardy medium creatures.
Thank the gods.
As the four of you, keep progressing, the sound of trickling water starts to hit your senses. And as you can never tell when you're turning in these tunnels. But slowly coming into frame, you see plumes of what look to be bioluminescent growths on the wall at this distance. Move you over to the other screen on roll 20 and have you all pan down to the center as the four of you enter into a room that is semi-spherical or semicircular in shape. And out to the corner, revealing themselves from the darkness, but not necessarily seeing the lot of you yet, you hear, "Is somebody there?" Standing into the luminescent growths of mushrooms and other kind of oceanic coral that you're not familiar with is a tall, kind of a little hunched over, not looking too great, but still standing with some strength, black dragonborn with pretty nice armor and a sword, shield on. Just kind of like lingers forward. It looks as though he cannot see very well.
And
so he is genuinely asking.
Gruth will step forward and be like, "Oh, you must be a survivor."
Yes, I've survived stupidity to this day. And I plan to survive this.
And he kind of gestures towards the center of the room. Looks to be a large doorway of a figure, a face, a soft, jovial, kind of roundish face, similar to that of a jolly fellow that lives in the north, maybe. And the face on the wall begins to yawn and open up its mouth. Hello? There's more travelers.
As I look over at the Dragonborn, what is your plan to survive this exactly? Because it doesn't seem like it's working very well so far.
If you go down there, there's things that can kill you. Out here, well,
cracks his knuckles. We'll see about that.
Well, I thought about it a bit. I thought that only a couple of days had passed. I was about to start trekking out, but you all got in this morning, then my timing's off. I'll have to wait till the next time low tide rolls in. Fucking Bahamut didn't bless the Dragonborn with vision in the night.
So, you're gonna stay here where you can't see, and you clearly don't have a very good sense of time until you think you're good?
I can try and recalibrate.
Why don't you come with us?
I'm injured. My compete rate's already out there. If he lives, he'll come back and get me. Otherwise, I'll try and take my chances in the water pool. Y'all look banged up. Did you fight the crab?
Fought and killed as I hold up a fistful of whatever I yanked out of it.
Gross, but good. Thank you. It's one of the many obstacles I have to tend with leaving this place.
I'd like to second his suggestion. You should come with us.
Well, Suit yourself. If you don't want to, I won't force you. Your funeral.
And nods, sits back down, opens up its pack, and pulls out looks to be a very like dwindled supply of food. And the door just kind of continues to yawn. I'm sorry. What are all your names?
Not sure introducing ourselves is necessary. Doesn't look like you can leave here yourself.
No, but I can open. Or I can stay closed.
I'll approach and I'll go, I'm Guruth Stonejaw.
Pleasure.
Oh, why not? Ronnie Ratman. And as he's about to, like, if I see him yawn again, can I use Mage Hand and put the hand in his mouth to see if there's a trigger?
He goes, oh, Ronnie, that's not a bad name. What? Why would you do that? And, like, immediately gets angry. Just stick your fingers down. That's disgusting.
Those aren't my fingers. I don't know what you're talking about.
I'm a magical door. Do you think I don't know what Mage Hand is? I was created during the age of abandonment, you little petulant. Fine, you want to know the riddle?
What is your
Very
name?
uncomfortable.
Oh,
You're
there's
supposed
a
to ask if
riddle.
you're going to get in someone's personal space like that.
I mean, you're a door, so...
Yes, and I'm still a
That's up to
sentient
the
being.
handle.
Require
Okay.
consent. Ugh. Ugh. Right, here's the riddle. What gets broken without being held?
Well, we just answer that riddle and you just open up.
Silence?
Oh, this is Kritz opens up and goes, well, that's the first one. He's gonna ask you 2 questions.
Silence
Well-
is a good answer.
So yes, no?
I would say a promise.
With the utterance of a promise, the angry door now goes, yes. So you got the first one right. Good for you. It's quite an easy one. I don't know why they made that, so I've come up with my own. It's quite amusing, if you ask me.
Swift's gonna look at the statue and say, well, I guess I should introduce myself as well. Swift Path. But I'm not gonna make a swift path into your mouth, trust me.
Well, being honest, I appreciate the statement and trying to make me feel a little safe in this situation. You see, he can't block his mouth, so he's like really wants to talk quickly and then stop talking immediately. And just
The Ratman will leave you alone. Just give us the other riddle, please.
roll a persuasion check.
You will, as I like stare daggers back at you.
What did you say the other, the NPC's race was that we could, as far as we could tell?
They are a
Black
black dragonborn. I will illuminate.
dragonborn.
I'll make them a little bigger for chat so they can see this
Nice.
art that I
Oh,
definitely
wow,
took.
that is nice. That's a nice picture.
Sorry, that was a persuasion check from me, right?
Yes, a persuasion check from you to the magical door.
All right. I was very persuasive towards this door with a 18.
18. Right. The assurance that I shall not be touched. What did the beach say when the tide came in?
Hi.
No. Fritz kind of.
I'd side eye the dragonborn.
Have you attempted to answer all these questions and just failed, or?
No, I've answered them successfully with my party. I've just taken a step back from the next few chambers.
Well, then
At
save
any
us some
risk of getting
time. We
killed.
might get your party back to you sooner.
If you can provide me with something worth my while, I'll tell you the answer.
No, that's not
What do
how
you
this.
want?
It's a riddle. You're supposed to get it right on your own.
No, you're a door. You.
Can I? Just gonna walk over and just like grapple him, pick him up.
Okay, give me an athletics check.
All right. Athletics. That is a 16.
Okay, so you walk up to him, and as he gets to a point, you step up, and as you begin to kind of like lift him by the collar of his plate mail, you see that he pivots his foot and he puts you in a position and puts his hand on your chest, and he almost immediately knocks you over, grabs you, and just you see the crackle of light inside his jaws. He goes,
If you touch me, you're all not getting out of here alive.
you see.
We'll see
Caustic
about that.
acid in his mouth.
However, we are currently wasting time. Time that I think all of us could make better use of.
Girth, I already asked him what he wanted. Let's just give him what he wants. Stop mouthing off.
Fine.
Need food and light. Torches and bread. I don't care. Something that's not fucking soaked. Just want to be able to stay here for the next day or two and not starve to death.
All right, we've got some rations and some torches. I still think you should come with us. It's probably safer with us than whatever party has probably already died, but that's your choice. What's the answer to the riddles? And we'll be on our way.
So you cough up a few days worth of food and some torches.
I like as I turn away, I just like drop a torch on the floor.
Alrighty. It's like they're oil soaked. You guys are in water. They're not the best, so you leave kind of like, let's say 4 from the 4 of you, and about 5 or so rations. And he goes,
So the door asked, what did the beach say when the tide came in? Long time, no sea.
and the door goes, and just keeps laughing and slowly opens to reveal the next chamber.
Thank God I'm not a door. Walks through.
Snoop rolls his eyes.
As you guys, or as you all look towards the next chamber, Fritz kind of just gestures for the 4 of you to enter.
Gruth takes the lead as per usual.
Ronnie will follow him behind.
Just before I enter, you sure you don't want to come with us?
You're gonna see some dead bodies. They were my friends once. Don't plan on making any new ones.
All right, well, we ain't coming back. Either way. Last chance. And I slowly walk through.
Gives you a half-hearted salute, kind of recognizing that you're in soldier's armor. And as you all enter into the first receiving chamber, you can see that this area is very well crafted, similar to latticework stone. The part that had been eroded away. And the water in this area is currently lining the floor. It's not knee deep like it was in the other section, but it's this light kind of drizzle that's just enough to get into your boots, just kind of piss you off. And the water appears to be trickling from the floor up the walls, dripping towards the ceiling in kind of this constant flow. And at the far end, you see that there's a veil of water. Don't know how thick, but you can see just loosely on the other side, kind of through the water. There's not really good light, but you see that the hallway kind of continues, and there's some section of like a broken wall. And then after that, you can make out with your guys' passive perception another doorway. Looking to the left and to the right, there appear to be carvings, relatively well taken care of, even though they've been dripping with water and some age. There isn't really much erosion. The 4 of you guys can give me an investigation check to try and understand the progression of the storyline. These drawings.
8.
15.
8, 12. All right, Swift, ever perceptive, you follow the carvings, and it's not this regular kind of like left to right. It seems to kind of bounce back and forth wherever the person that was building this area set up sections to kind of maybe explain what was going on. You see images of figures, people. It's rudimentary kind of like stick figures, and they're so small. They're lacking a lot of detail, but they're looking up towards the heavens, and not just clouds, the separation of clouds into these different slices. None of you are really arcane practitioners. Ronnie, give me an Arcana check.
One moment. Another 12.
You see that the way that these slices of the heavens and the arrangements, they're trying in a two-dimensional space to kind of describe the planes of existence, kind of in this circular relationship with the stick figures. These figures are attempting to represent people and beings that are present, and you see that there is this transfer of energy and power through these lines that go towards the people. And then in response, there's this transfer of energy and lines from the people to the heavens to these planes. And now there are figures that are appearing, these larger beings outside of these planes apparating. The next image, and it's kind of bouncing around, so you're glad that you can follow the logic of it. These beings become more present. You see that there is war and conflict between the beings in the heavens against each other, some representing law, some representing chaos, some fire, some water. And similar things are happening, mirroring on Earth, or on, not Earth, on the material plane. These beings that are worshiping, that are praising and sending out energy towards the heavens are now inviting a refuge from conflict, a refuge from chaos, and a refuge from war. You see that the beings are drafting up decrees and requests and scripture asking the beings to come down. And then the next few drawings are of the larger beings, these godlike beings. And living, building structures, and teaching them things. Teaching them the benefit of certain technologies and the benefit of certain types of medicines. And you see that the regalia and the drawings get more definition and more, just more. It seems as though the person is trying to describe figures and beings before the gods landed as primitive, like cave drawings. And now they're getting details and carvings. And then there's a depiction of one of the beings with a dagger in their back, and one of the gods laying dead in the sea. Then another division, and the beings from the heavens returning there, and the cracking of what was once built, and a lot of the knowledge and the definition getting separated. Trying to tell the story of people wanting the gods present and squandering that gift. And the gods going back away. And there's one detailed drawing, a figure with the trident going back into what looks to be like a curtain of waves. And a lot of you recognize this decently detailed drawing, the long beard, pointed crown, almost like a fish tail instead of legs. Recognize a depiction, crude depiction of Poseidon going back into the ocean, along with the other gods returning to their realms. And that's where the edge of this wall currently sits. I believe it was Swift there, kind of showcasing and pointing out these different things, because if without the order, it seems as though it's just kind of a collection, an anthology of stories, but it definitely has a lesson. What went wrong? Girth,
So,
as you step through the water, the shimmering pool of water, you notice that there's sections of water as you step through this area that stay there, present. Like you're kind of like you pass by a curtain, but there's another curtain that's identical to the curtain that you just passed, but it should be like opaque. But it's not really opaque. It looks like water, like standing water, but it looks a little weird. And two pseudopods reach out from either of these tall, standing, weird-like water creatures and attempt to strike at you.
okay.
First one is a 10 to hit, and the second one is a 22 to hit.
Just hits, you know.
Okay. I'm just going to double check stats of these. Take 13 points of bludgeoning damage as you see this water reach out, begin to envelop your head and crack into you. And I will need everybody to roll initiative. Once again.
That's more like it.
Okay. Let's do...
Not bad. Not bad.
Let's just go back to some smooth, atmospheric messaging. Okay. Start that dexterous. Alrighty. GP rolled a 12 on initiative for Onyx is also at a 12. Swift is also at a 12, but I believe Swift has the best dex. And
It's a
Guruth.
20 for Guruth.
Guruth, 20. Alrighty. At the top of initiative, you see these two pillars of water that are a little weird strike out towards you, and they appear to have quite a large reach. What would you like to do? It's your turn.
Well, I didn't like that. It hurt. I'm a little angry, so I am going to punch the water pillars because that seems like the
Okay,
logical
sounds
thing
good.
to do. I'm going to start with the one on the left, I suppose.
Alrighty.
That is going to be a 17 to hit for the first attack.
That definitely hits this creature.
Nice. Damage is going to be... it's going to be 10 damage for the first strike.
As you land a fist in the center of this creature, you feel some not as much resistance as you were hoping for, and unfortunately not as much damage as you're hoping for. As it
I
appears as
figured.
though this creature is resistant to bludgeoning damage.
As I suspected, but don't care. Gonna punch it again with my bonus action.
Gorgeous. So going in with a straight jab and then spinning around for a backhand to where you think its face is.
Does a 12 hit by chance?
Unfortunately, it does not, as it ducks out of the way. This amorphous creature doesn't really taunt you or do anything else particularly weirdly. Anything else?
No, that I'll call it. That's my turn.
Okay, sounds good. After that, it is now Swift's turn. Swift, you see that Guruth is fighting the air. shadow boxing.
Just getting a little training in. Ho, 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 ho.
And you're currently muted.
Yeah, I keep forgetting that. My apologies. I said, okay, back to what I was saying though. I see that it looks like he's fighting air, but I figure he wouldn't just waste energy like that unless something was going on. So he's gonna bounce over here, right up next to him, and I'm assuming he sees this.
Yes, so as you rush forward, you see that there's still water, even after you've gone past this wave of water. And you can strike out.
I do have the 2-weapon fighting. Does that mean I get to strike twice?
So you can have your dominant hand. You strike once with an action, and then bonus action you can use your offhand. And if you have the 2-weapon fighting feat, you can add your offhand. You can add your dex to your offhand damage as well.
Nah, just a bonus. Just as a bonus action.
Yep.
But I will get sneak attack, so I'll just go ahead and I
Stab,
know it's
stab.
not going to do much damage. I'm going to stab you.
That's a 24 to hit, though. That hits.
Dang, almost.
Okay, a total of 13 damage. This is done with a magical weapon, and as you slash into it, pierce into it, you do the full damage amount. Absolutely.
Nice.
You've now bloodied this creature.
Let me see. I don't see anything I can really do at this point except for disengage, but I think he's just gonna stay put for now, so no bonus action.
Alrighty.
That'll be the end of my turn.
Sounds good. Ronnie Ratman, you see that there is currently a combat going on.
Am I able to perceive this? My understanding was Garuth was fighting the air.
Yeah. And Swift kind of rushed in. And you saw that Swift also started fighting the air.
Okay, well, I like to think Ronnie's smart enough, but he's not nearly fast enough, as he is at the back of the room. So
You can be wherever you'd like to be in the room to start off with. Like, let's just, if you wanted to hang out at the very back of the room, that makes sense. Like, go ahead.
I'm gonna assume that Ronnie would be close to Garuth, but not that close.
Okay.
So
Okay.
I'm going to have him. Let's just make things fair.
That's a fair assessment.
Let's do this, and then he can move his 25. If this will let me do it. There we go. And then he can move his 25 up to here.
Okay.
And then what do these things look like?
Water.
And
They look like shifting towers of water that are kind of trying to like lean back and forth, and they're acting a little weird. They're just, I don't know, they're like, socks and crocs are good fashion choice. So you know that they're weird water.
Okay, so they're speaking.
Didn't know I was getting personal.
They're not speaking. I'm just saying that
No?
they're water weird, so I'm trying to
okay.
get that across to
Gotcha.
to the audience.
I'm trying to,
guess
bards
that on your
and
bingo card?
their musical sort of stuff, making sure this person can hear me or not. And if they can't, it's not worth my time. So with that, quick and easy, toll the dead, give me a wisdom save.
Okay, on the one that's taking damage already?
Yes, please, the one on the left.
Wisdom save is an 11, so I believe they fail.
Solid.
It's a D12. That
Yes,
boy.
sir. 7.
7 points of damage. All right, that does the amount you were looking for as well.
Yep. And that is my turn.
Okay, Onyx, you're up.
Okay, before I fully get into character, I want to jump back to something that my son said earlier on. that maybe you created some backstory stuff that I didn't know about with regards to tridents and things like that. What does Onyx know that maybe I don't about this whole situation?
Tridents.
And because you
about
had mentioned like how you took care of my mother.
So Lariat, in the months where your wife's illness progressed, getting closer and closer to it being worse and worse, Lariat chose to dive towards one of the religions that's more prominent in the area. It's kind of been dying off, but it's still like a lot of the fishermen follow it. There's the Hall of Poseiden, which is like the current kind of religious influence in the city. You guys are out in the rural area. So he likely went to go do some soul searching to just find some answers and try anything that would work. So it's likely that the days after, he probably kept this a secret from you, him trying to be a strong teenager, trying to be like his dad, not really talk about how he asked a being that he wasn't sure existed and begged for help. Likely you discovered some effigies of Poseidon in the room. And it's not that it was like a bad thing. I don't think that you would be that type of parent. It's not like it's wrong to worship, and you probably weren't of that opinion. But he was embarrassed to show that to you. Because that's not necessarily something that he was raised to definitively believe. It's not something that your wife believed. And you've been finding that when you've been putting it away, or he's been putting it away, when you go into his room, kind of like unannounced, now that his condition is progressing worse, you find it up in his room, and he's turning to anything that can help him.
Yeah, you're right. I probably wouldn't have asked many questions, just let him be him, but I feel a sense of connection now as I approach this wall. I mutter under my breath something about, of course, tieflings have fire and there's water, and there's not a lot for me to do here, and feeling a little sense of shame of not being able to, still holding on to some of the failures I just had, and steps through. Given that everything else is mundane, I might as well try firing at these things, and I'll take a shot.
Absolutely. You take your pistol out, kind of cover it as you go through the water stream, and just crack in this hallway, which is still very loud. And that's a 23 to hit with your pepper box. So you crack this thing straight down the center. Please roll damage. Alrighty.
3.
But it seems, as it is an arcane implement of your son's design, it is doing the regular amount of damage. Is there anything else you'd like to do on your turn?
I think that's it for this turn.
Alrighty. It is now the water weird's turns. All right, so one is going to take out a smack at Swift, as it is in melee. That is a 21 to hit, I believe, on Swift. And then against Garuth, that is a 24 to hit.
Goodness.
I'm rolling excellent.
Before you say anything, I'm going to use a reaction. Is like, because you said you already said the numbers. Is that okay if I? Yeah. Okay. Silvery Bards.
Barbs? Yeah. All right. So
Yeah,
which one would you like to have them re-roll their attack? The left one or the right one?
24 roll.
Alrighty. So the one that's against Girth is going to attempt to roll a disadvantage and see if it misses.
The lower one does get picked with what the spell says.
That is a 13 instead.
There it is.
And as also part of this reaction, you can give advantage to a creature. Do you choose a creature in this moment to do that for?
Okay. I will give it to Well, Ronnie was not paying attention, so the advantage will go to Swift.
Swift. Okay, sounds good. And speaking of Swift, Swift ends up receiving 10 points of bludgeoning damage, and the water weird begins to envelop Swift. You see that the water begins to swirl around the fur of the tabaxi that you guys have now grown accustomed to, grappling, and is attempting to drown Swift as well. After that, it is now Gurth's turn. You are currently muted, good sir.
Thank you.
Soggy Kitty again, that is very true, Karis.
So just as a quick point of reference, I forgot for every short or long rest, I have to roll a d20 for those bracers. I
Yes.
did roll a 15 on that, so just enough for that +2 to AC.
Okay,
It
so
matter for that last attack, but just so you're aware.
gorgeous. For those of the folks that are following along at home, Girth at the beginning of the session was given bracers of defense, where you roll a d20 and they either add or subtract to your AC depending on the roll every short or long rest. Alrighty, what would you like to do there, Girth?
I'm gonna keep punching.
Great.
Let's say 18 to hit for the first attack.
That hits.
Nice. And I'm gonna sock him for 6 damage.
Righty. Translates to 3 as you smack him as it's attempting to drown Swift.
And I am going to punch again. That is only a 14 to hit.
That still hits these
Nice.
weird waters.
Excellent. All right. That is a 11 for damage.
Okay, so that translates to 5. This thing is on death's door.
All right.
Very, very, very close.
Screw it. Key point. I'm going to hit it with another one. That is a 17 to hit.
17 certainly hits. I don't know about swarm mechanics. I don't do a lot of the slasher stuff. I'm just talking to chat real quick as you roll your damage. If we get into swarm-like creatures, it might happen. How much damage there, Red?
7 damage. Is that going to be enough to do it?
How do you want to kill this water?
I kind of just give it like a swift hacha karate chop diagonally as the water just disperses.
So smooth. You smack. You know those like tales of a boy who's training maybe it's a Shaolin monk, just slapping a still bowl of water, and you remember your sensei sitting there, you just having this bowl of water that is perfectly still. He goes, "The rock does not wait for the water to get out of the way. The rock falls and breaks the water tension." And you remind yourself, your sensei was not very good at inspirational moments. He's hit and miss a lot, but you remember and you crack through the surface tension of this creature, destroying it, absolutely obliterating it. And that is your turn. And now, Swift, it's your turn.
Okay. Make sure I'm not muted this time. Okay. I was making sure I wasn't muted. So, seeing now is this guy is no longer here. He's gonna hop on over here and do the stabby.
And you have advantage because of Ronnie's silvery barbs.
That is right.
Close.
22.
But you still stab it. I was hoping for that natural 20.
I was hoping.
Ooh. What does it look like when you carve a whole 16 points of damage out of this creature?
So Swift, he's just going to try and sneak around Garuth and try and surprise it with a nice hefty slash, as if he's totally mad because he's soaking wet again and he doesn't want to be.
Yes, this Tabaxi is incredibly serious, is soaked head to toe, so kind of looks like a soaked kitten, but slashes the water, and that's what I like to call chopped water. After that, it is now Ronnie's turn.
Well, so these things are pure water, yeah? As far as I
They
can tell.
seem to be, yeah, pretty pure. I don't know.
Alrighty then. Can I use shape water to hold it in place?
Okay, give me a
My whole
charisma check,
person.
because this is a cantrip, and he's trying to like freeze sections of it.
Use the force.
Charisma. Too many tabs. There you go.
Alrighty. So as you focus and wait, you cast that shrill noise once again, and you see a pseudopod that's about to land and impact Guruth. Roll a d10 for me. As the pseudopod breaks off, snapping, turning into an icicle and shattering on the ground.
Oh, the one.
Still did damage, and it's bloodied.
I'll take it.
No, not that. Not that simple.
And then yeah, that's gonna be my turn.
Ooh, right up after Ronnie, it is now Onyx, and nice shout out to Miss Cat Lovin' in the chat, just buttering me right up. Thank you very much.
Well, I'm gonna use that 2-weapon fighting as well. I'm gonna start by throwing a boomerang at it.
All right,
Missed.
you have a boomerang.
Yeah, I do. And then, yeah, I'll fire again. That one.
That's
That's a misfire.
a misfire. You go and you go. Cylinder doesn't shift, nothing changes, and you look at it, and you might have a bomb in your hand, and you might have a piece of metal.
And because I threw that damn boomerang first, I can't even use my Tinker Tools now.
Okay, yeah. You gotta wait till next turn. You're gonna move it all.
I'll, maybe just take a couple shifts back through the water, start to figure this thing out.
Yeah. Shit, as you back up. And now it is the Water Weird's turn, is taking a slash at Swift. That is a 16 to hit you. Swift? That beat your
I'm
AC?
sorry, 16?
Yeah.
Yes, that does hit.
You see the pseudopod reaches out and tries to smash. That is an additional 10 points of bludgeoning damage.
Oof. I was looking into something earlier. So I'm sorry about that, but
Nope. Absolutely.
yeah, he's not too happy about that either.
And it is going to attempt to drown you as well. Unfortunately, that's the way that it goes, but that'll happen next turn. It is now Guruth's turn once again.
All right. I'm just gonna keep doing what I'm doing. I'm gonna punch some water. And my first attack is going to, I think, miss with a 13.
Oh, no, that hits.
All right.
This is non-armored water.
Excellent.
TM.
Love punching some water. That's going to be 10 damage.
Alrighty. That's turned to 5, but you're working your way through this thing. It's getting less and less voluminous.
Second attack is definitely not going to hit with an 8.
No, it is not. It's too dexterous for you.
Indeed. So, action surge, and I'm going to attack another time.
Okay, sounds good.
That's going to hit with a 17.
Yes, it is.
And a whole 4 damage reduced to 2.
Alrighty. That's your turn?
That is indeed my turn.
That is. Alright, it is now Swift's go. Swift, on your turn, give me a Constitution saving throw as you are beginning to drown. And you manage to keep your fangs shut, clenched, as you retain the air that is in your lungs, not having it replaced by water, weird water specifically, and you remain conscious. You can go ahead and attempt to attack.
So, knowing that this thing is trying to definitely kill him, he really is now very ticked off. He's going to pull out a second sword, but the first one he'll use his magical weapon.
Okay.
I don't think
Fortunately, we'll miss.
that's a nat 1. Holy crap. So, and then he's just going to come around and hit with the short sword. Which also misses. What the hell, man?
Struggling, kind of reaching out and striking and hitting the wall, and then bringing out the other short sword and then hitting the other side of the wall. You guys are seeing that Swift is being lifted up into the air, the pseudopod reaching, kind of wrapped around like a lasso around Swift's throat, the tentacles of water beginning to go into every orifice, trying to enter in and drown this creature. It is now Ronnie's turn.
Anyway, I can. Yeah, let's try again. Can I try and use shape water to undo the grappling?
Yeah, give me a charisma check.
Yeah, all right. Great, 9.
We'll say that you get to add a D4 to Swift's either Constitution saving throw or or a acrobatics check to try and escape the grapple. If it comes down to that, and Swift can add that after they roll. So you're aiding, but you're just not giving enough force to kind of pull the water tendril off, unfortunately.
Okay, well, if that's the case, then have a bardic inspiration too.
What do you say to Swift to inspire him?
You know, not the best place to take a nap, but we can do better.
Okay. Right after that, it is now Onyx's turn. Onyx, you have this G-dang mechanism.
Fiddling with still learning this thing.
Ooh, okay.
So 14.
I believe that's a success. So you, as a bonus action, just go in and you see that like where would to revolve to the chamber, it just seems like it's filled with a section of mud, and you kind of clear it up and goes back into its firing position.
Hop back in and fire again.
Bang. And that hits. Roll some damage.
Nice.
You make a bullet-shaped hole in this thing. And it is on death's door.
With 2-weapon fighting, can I just hop it over to my other hand, or should I throw my boomerang?
You have to use a different weapon, so you can just underhand your boomerang, which I guess came back to you and we just kind of neglected thematically. And you throw your boomerang, and it misses a second time, but it comes back to your hand somehow.
I do get +2 on range attack rolls with a feat.
Oh.
Is 12 its AC by chance?
Unfortunately, no, that is just barely not enough.
Alright, that's it for my turn.
Okay, right after that, it is now the Weird Water's turn. It is gonna do some more bludgeoning on Swift. Attempt to at least. That is a 14 to hit you, Swift.
Meets my class.
Just barely cracking the skull of Swift. They take 9 additional points of bludgeoning. As this headache is unbearable, it is now Guruth's turn.
Yeah, seeing Swift really struggling there, I kind of dig deep within myself and feel like a swelling rage, and I strike it again. And that is a 13, which just hits, correct?
Just barely hits, yeah.
Excellent.
Some damage.
That I shall. That's going to be 6 damage.
How do you want to do this?
And remember how I did it last time? I kind of just like step in between it and Swift and just give it this big old backhand.
You remember your sensei trying to keep your senses keen and always surprising you with sudden attacks. What he would like to call, I'll steal this from the Adventure Zone, what we used to call a vibe check. And he would just leap out of random sections and throw buckets of water, but not necessarily like throw them that the water hit you, but it was just like just full heavy buckets that had water in them, and you would have to just quickly impact and deflect, and you just recall that as you go back into this stance and go out with one swift monkish backhand and decimate this creature. We're all out of combat. You see a deceased individual at the north end of the room.
Can I check
door.
their pockets?
Yes, you may.
Excellent. I'm assuming
We're getting next to the 3-hour mark. How's everybody doing?
Excellent.
We get to go 1 more hour? What about chat? What do they think? I definitely have what they have on their body written down. It's definitely somewhere. As Guruth begins to approach, you see that this appears to be a young figure, very likely a wood elf. Not wearing any specified metallic or like heavy armor. Maybe some like leathers, but kind of just for like style and comfort. They have a lot of herbs and mushrooms and other just general good like medicines that you're not entirely familiar with how to use. However, they are clutching a staff that looks to be particularly well made and has these kind of like how like Gandalf's staff kind of curls and gnarls towards the end and they kind of all warp into each other. It's like that, but at the very tips, you look and you see that the tips of these roots, kind of, or shoots, I suppose, of staff end in very well carved bird heads. Like a beaked face.
Okay, and nothing else? No health potions, anything like that?
It appears as though this person has had some of their belongings rifled through, and this is what was left.
Okay.
Unfortunately.
Fair enough. I suppose I'll grab the staff, save it for a rainy day.
You can add
Seems to be a lot of
a
that.
staff of bird calls to your inventory.
Staff of bird calls. Okay. Very well.
Did we know Ronnie used detect magic earlier, or was that something he did privately?
I think that not necessarily familiar. Either of the two of you have like a specific background. So unless he tells you that he did, you won't know, I would say. Okay. There appears to be not a moving door this time. Not a artificial talkative door that is going to invite you in any which way. It appears as though to just be a simplified door that is reading a book. The book is open. There appears to be a quill on the side of it. What do you do?
Is it... Can I inspect the book, see if there's anything like written on the pages?
Absolutely. Give me an investigation check.
Very well. How about... Yeah, that tracks. That's
Swift for an 18.
it's an 8 for Gruth.
An 8 for Gruth. So Swift, very first to pick their claws through the pieces of paper. You see that there is a list of names that have been entered. A set for each page. It appears to be 3 or 4 names kind of in a series. The last group that entered was Dellen, Lore, Honda, and Krian. The group before that was Yakor, Pazka, Pepra, and Zaka.
And we're only seeing, like, there was only the one body in this hallway?
Yes. The group before that was Ferden, Jaleel.
Okay, well, I will grab the quill and scribe my name in, see if anything happens.
As you scribe your name in, you disappear off the map.
I grab the quill next. I write my name down.
Okay. You write Onyx River down. You also operate on the other side of this wall.
Ronnie was distracted by a slug on the ground, and she started seeing people disappearing after they were writing their names. So he's not going to question anything. So he's just going to go ahead and do it.
Okay. You write your full name, and you appear on the other side. What about you, Swift? You're currently muted. Yes.
Well, now what I had said was I was going to take the first time I said something, he was going to look at Ronnie and say, you know, basically what's going on. What do you want to do? But obviously, because I was muted, that didn't get through. So he's going to look over the book, realize that his companions, once they signed their name, magically appeared on somewhere else. Not wanting to be alone and or anything like that. He hesitates a moment, but then sighs and signs his name as well.
Okay. Swift Path gets entered into the book, and you, as the fourth, enter into this chamber. This is a relatively simplistic chamber. There's a similar looking book with a similar looking quill, and not depicted on the map. In the center of the room, there is a teal tower, almost looking like it is made of sapphire. There is a there is a quartz looking sphere on top of it. And there is a deceased body in the top right corner.
It's normally ain't my style, but perhaps it's my soldier background that makes me want to check for traps.
Yeah, give me an investigation check.
I was
Nice.
hoping for perception, but 19 is pretty good.
As you look around for traps, there appears to be several inlets. This area is damper than the rest, and there are several inlets, pipes that are leading from the ceiling. Look like they carry water in large volumes very quickly. The body is soaked, and you can see just by kicking them over or gently nudging them over, which is probably more your character's speed, that their jaws are filled with water.
Careful, everybody. Something's gonna release traps of water. That's how the rest died. Don't just rush in touching everything.
Did you find a trigger by chance?
I indicate to the inlets. I don't know if I see any particular triggers, DM.
The wall does not appear. You haven't noticed any other mechanisms, and there's just a singular pillar, sapphire pillar with a quartz sphere on top of it.
My guess is don't touch the sphere.
Sounds reasonable.
So, Swift.
Our mission was to bring back information, right? Not anything physical.
Unlock the secrets. It's kind of the description.
Swift's gonna go again to the statue with the book and take a look and see what he can find again.
Similarly, there is names written into the book. They appear to be written with it's a different contrast. The book appears to be like a pure black, kind of like an ichor, like it's filled with ink, and the sections of names that have been written appear to be dried. So
Can
it
I
looks
use
as
that same
though everything is
investigation?
covered in ink, save for the signatures of some people. The only one that is missing from this room is Pazka, who you recognize is one of the figures dead on the floor. The figure dead on the floor.
Would you allow me to use that same investigation to loot this body? Anything that's left?
Oh, yeah. You find 10 blowgun needles, and he is wearing a set of studded leather armor that appears to be magical in some way.
What?
So while this looting is going on, Ronnie has remembered his special charcuterie board and picks out a strange green-looking cheese and decides to eat it.
Okay. Is that
Which
are you
is
eating?
I'm using the Speak of Dead cheese that you gave me.
Ronnie Ratman pulls out a slice of cheese and begins to munch on it. And as Ronnie crouches down, looks towards this figure that is lying there incapacitated, not terribly long ago has passed. And as Ronnie breathes this sickly green smoke emanating from the cheese and now his mouth into the nostrils of the dead being, he sees. The rest of you don't necessarily make up that the character, the creature, kind of its lungs filled with water kind of just cracks its head forward.
Hey man, you're not looking so good. So, got a question for you. How'd you end up like this?
Drowned.
Okay, well, what caused the drowning?
Swallowed water from the ceiling.
And how did that start?
We touched the orb. Why didn't they die?
Okay, don't touch the orb. Got it. Did
No,
anyone
you-
else? Did anyone else make it out of this room?
Yes.
How'd
Yes.
they do that?
They signed their name. And I panicked. They told me to calm. They motioned for me to calm down, and I panicked.
Oh. And did they sign their name to get out the other way, or to move
I
forward?
believe that was your 5 questions.
Fuck. Oh, you played me. Oh well.
Some strong cheese.
Yeah. No. Okay. So, first and foremost, don't touch the orb. I think we figured that
Like-
out already, which is unfortunate.
Panning on it.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, we got there. Second, didn't know the direction, but sign your name to move forward. So,
I will step away real quick for the next minute. You guys discuss amongst yourselves. I'm going to grab paper towel to clean this up.
Is it possible to give the DM a point of inspiration? Because that was well played.
we can. You
It
know
was a
what?
nice touch.
The other group where Eddie is playing as a PC, I will mention that to the DM, and I'm sure he'll
There you
in
go.
good faith pass that forward.
Nice.
Yeah.
Would we have seen you do that? Speaking of the dead?
Oh yes, you would have seen the disgusting breath as the cloud goes into this man's nostrils, and
But we wouldn't understand what.
no, it would have been just me talking to a dead body, and that would have been very peculiar after eating Jeez.
After seeing that, I just consciously make a note to like keep a distance from you and not let you get too close,
Right.
because that's some concerning cheese breath.
Yeah. No, we're good. So, you can't answer any question. I guess if there's no notebook on the preceding wall, then my assumption is, I don't know, if we don't see any other triggers, then my assumption is to trigger the room. And then by some means, either the room filling up or us trying to find a time-based trigger to move
Well,
forward.
so he already said that this door is identical with a notebook. It's just slightly different.
Okay.
So it's still, I think
So,
it's the same thing. We just scratch our names in again.
Yeah, try that first.
Yeah, so I'll walk up next to Swift there and I will scratch my name in.
You pick up the quill. It's a similar manufacturer to the other one. And as you begin to attempt to scratch in, looks as though the quill doesn't have any ink in it. Looks like it's made of
Can I just
glass, and it's
scratch?
hollow.
Okay.
Having difficulty like getting through the ink. It's a little bit too viscous, and you can't properly or legibly write your name in.
Hey,
I
Gareth,
have
is
an
there
idea.
a hole or something in there? In that quill?
Can I
You guys give me
investigate
another
or would I
investigation
just
check
not?
on the quill.
Because
Alright.
those have been going so great for Guruth. On track. I swear he's not a dumb fighter.
I'm sorry, 12.
19.
Onyx has the 19.
Onyx is the 19. All right, so Swift kind of like looks it over. You see that it looks to be glass blown. Kind of has a feather coming off it to make it look like a proper quill, but as you like detach it and take the sleeve off, it looks like it is a proper glass blown cylinder with one end, kind of similar to how like our pens look, but the end that you would write with doesn't have anything in the tip. It's just kind of like a hollow point. So it's just filled with air.
I did a medicine check because I have a feeling that you're supposed to fill this thing with blood.
I have a feeling it's water.
There's no trace of blood that you can see.
Sorry, so there's like holes on both ends, you're saying? It kind of goes...
Just one end.
Just one end?
Let's see if I have one.
I was also going to ask about the leather armor. Is that something I could fit under or over my chainmail?
You take the time to take the studded leather armor off. You can stick it into your bag or the bag of holding that you guys picked up, but it's difficult to wear over or under your current armor.
But I could trade out my chainmail.
You could for studded leather, but that would be a 12 plus dex for your new AC. Don't know if that's better.
But it's magical. Do any of you need armor?
I could use some.
Here, I give Swift the magical leather.
Yeah, that's interesting. It's like Chad has pointed out, it's like a glass pipette, but there's no balloon on the end. It's just like a flat end instead of a part that you would squish.
Here, Swift.
Writing implement.
I think you need this more than I do.
Thank you, thank you.
Okay, well...
I think you're onto something about the water, too. Poseidon's a water god. Let's try filling it with water and writing it that way.
You guys grab your water skin and pour it into the tip of this pipette. It's quite difficult, this writing implement, and you start to attempt to draw this. The water looks like it makes the ink less viscous, and it kind of smears it around a little bit easier than it already was. It's definitely easier to drag your pen through, but the water kind of like, or the ink kind of like follows in a trail with it, so you can't legibly write your name. And after someone tries to write their name, nothing seems to change.
What if we
Well-
write our names back?
While all this is happening, Guruth is just going to sit there and meditate for a bit. I don't know if that's going to be just enough time to get a key point back. I would have done this like before they started swapping.
We'll say
out the
that you
studded
started
leather.
your meditation and you're kind of just sitting there. Sure.
Yeah, just chilling. We'll
30
say
minutes go by.
meditating-
30 minutes go by.
Yeah, meditating for an answer, see if it comes to me in some great epiphany.
Ronnie, you mentioned triggering this thing. I mean, we could go for another swim. We trigger the trap, then write our names, and it'll pop us through.
Let's test something first. The way we came in, can we get out that way?
There's a blank
Same
wall.
method? Sorry?
There's a blank wall behind you.
Awesome. No other triggers.
Okay.
Well, we're going for a swim, I think. Anyone, or am I going to do it?
I mean, you might as well go big or go home, right? Touch the orb or just try and take it.
Cool. Mage hand.
Okay, you move your mage hand. The mage hand plops on the sphere.
I get ready to write.
Nothing seems to happen.
Can I pull the sphere off with mage hand? How heavy is it?
The sphere is heavier than 10 pounds, so no.
That
It seems
is
to be
okay.
suspended in
And
some
I
sort of
am
arcane field.
Seeing this struggling, Guruth gets up, walks over, and just kind of like knocks it off.
You bop it. Give me a strength check.
Ooh, it's more like it. How about a 22?
How hard are you trying to bop it?
That I'm not like punch it. I literally like basically just flick it. I just
So you go up and you
casually-
kind of nudge it, kind of just knock it off. It doesn't move off of its point, but the angle that you contact it with, it begins to spin, and spin, and begins to keep going and going and going and going. And with that, all this water begins to descend from these 2 dozen pipes in the ceiling and begins to rapidly start to fill the room up with water, salt water.
Fill,
As I saw it start to spin, I would have walked back before it got to like difficult terrain.
Okay, what would you like to do, Ronnie?
fill the glass pipette pen with the water that's filling up the room.
You
and
invert the glass pipette pen and you put it underneath the water line and you wait as very, very, very slowly the air slowly fills as the water gets heavier and heavier and heavier. I need you to start to hold your breath, Ronnie, as the water is just trying its hardest to escape this tiny, like, pinprick area. And then the rest of you have to, one by one, hold your breath as the water slowly fills into this pipette. Everyone becomes entirely submerged. The pipette does not necessarily finish filling. I need everybody to give me a Constitution saving throw. So you wait for this water to fill the pen.
So if we go back far enough, you gave me that thing that I believe was advantage on my next Constitution saving
That
throw.
it was too long ago. That is past.
Okay, yeah, I just wanted to confirm.
Oh,
It's a nat 20 on this con.
Okay. So, I believe it is just Guruth who's left on the con save.
18.
So, you guys all watch as Ronnie is like it just starts drowning. The pipette is like 3/4 full with water, but the room is now entirely filled with water.
Can I just go ahead and start writing my name down?
You attempt to rush over and try to scrawl your name in, and you push the ink around. And Ronnie, does anybody help him? Do anything?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay,
We're
what would you like
trying
to
help
do?
him write his name. I'm
Okay, you
gonna
try to help
either
him
try
write
and
his
help
name?
you. Yeah.
Okay. You move the thing in.
Oh no. Oh no.
Oh.
Dun dun dun.
And then we drown.
So as the vision starts to close in, can all hear me?
You were gone for a bit,
Yes,
buddy.
you're back. We're good.
But I'm back. Just like Ronnie's vision, it is disappearing quickly. So, unable to write his name legibly. You see that he's just pushing the ink around this half-filled pen that is, the top half is air, the bottom half is water.
I take it and I write his name and then mine.
You attempt to scrawl. Ronnie, I need you to give me another con save. The rest of you guys also a con save.
Uh-oh. Hey, okay, I can do that.
Nah, it's still
14.
get this done around.
Okay. And Guruth.
14.
For Swift, the panic and the worry and the dislike of water is starting to set in, and the water is starting to ingress. The pressure of this room seems to ever increase, not like what you were previously in. Ronnie is barely holding on to consciousness, and Swift, you're starting to get the similar tunnel vision yourself. You feel yourself start to drown.
So did anything happen when Onyx?
Nothing has changed.
Nothing?
The ink
Okay.
has been pushed around, but it appears as though no one is able to write their name legibly at this
I'm gonna
current
pull out-
attempt.
I'm gonna
What?
pull out my dagger and I'm gonna try and
Okay.
carve my name in that way.
Begin to carve your name in, and you're unable. You push the ink around, but it's too fine tipped, and there's not enough force to separate the ink from the page.
What about just a regular quill or pen that I've got? Try to write my name that way.
Take it out and you scratch it. I need everybody to give me another Constitution saving throw. The orb in the center of the room is still spinning, 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 spinning.
Oh, shit.
Swift. Ronnie.
I
Yeah, Ronnie.
clearly not worked. Use shape water to try and stop the orb from spinning.
Onyx rolled that 20. Guruth, what'd you roll?
17.
17. Ronnie, give me another charisma check as you see Swift collapse and you yourself are falling down. And just barely, with the last ounce of breath that you possibly have, you grab your lead recorder, you go, and you solidify and you grind to a halt to this spinning quartz. And you guys both see Ronnie and Swift just let go of all the remainder of their air as the room begins to fill with air once again. They both need medical attention.
Okay, well,
Are they both unconscious or they? Yeah.
They're both unconscious and have water in their lungs.
yeah, so I will run over to Ronnie and I will attempt to stabilize him.
Medicine check.
Yes.
I'll do the
choose
same.
you.
For Swift. 22 for me.
Okay. And for you, Guruth.
That is not so great. That is a 12.
12 is enough to stabilize somebody.
Excellent.
So that's good enough. So Onyx kind of rushes over to Swift and pulls a couple hairs underneath their nose and wakes them up and also gets them to cough all the water out of their lungs. And for Guruth and Ronnie, I don't know. You just kind of shake him by the tail. He ejects all the water.
Shake all the water off of him.
And that is right, chat. You don't fuck with water. You don't fuck with Poseidon. Alrighty.
Well, that didn't work so well.
Yeah, new plan. That was a bad plan. I don't like that plan.
Hey, it was worth a try. None of you were coming up with anything.
Fair enough.
Did we try blood?
You have tried blood.
Oh, we did? Okay, sorry. My apologies.
Yep. So
Okay.
to recap, the dead body did say that his friends got through, and he didn't, and they did write their names in the book, and they did do it while there was water running. So some combination of the book being below water and writing your name in somehow. You've been given an implement that doesn't contain any ink, but is just filled with air.
Okay. And functionally it works the same, like salt water and drinking water works the same.
What do you mean by functionally?
Like,
I think what he's
as
saying
in writing
is
our
we just,
name
like,
down.
soak it as opposed to.
Yes, it
having-
appears as though it was the same interaction when you guys use drinking water as opposed to the salt water that filled the room. Absolutely.
Okay.
Your current issue that you're having is that when you displace the ink, nothing has enough like force to separate the ink in like a clean way.
So I'll try filling it with water again with my water skin, and then try blowing on the end while I write my name.
It is one-ended. So it has one entrance. Yeah. So it's like a pipette, but the back end of the pipette is capped.
Okay.
So it only has one inlet and outlet port.
Maybe heat. Try heating the water. Heating the pipette.
Any of us really have the ability to do that?
I'm a
Weird.
tiefling.
You can all give me an intelligence check.
Because those have worked so well for me so far. And it continues. That's a 1.
That's a 1.
I don't even have a negative intelligence stat. But
Swift,
that
that is an 8.
So.
Onyx and
15.
Ronnie.
Nope.
15 for Ronnie.
I clicked it, but it didn't come through. I'll try clicking it again.
Ooh, a 10. Alrighty. Okay, let's see. Ronnie, you remember your time in the capital of Mattia. Your time in the sewers, especially during the winter, and how a sudden hot rush of fluids and air would sometimes, in very specific circumstances, when there was a sudden onrush of air and wind, hot air and wind would all the man covers down a certain street. You recall that when air is heated up, it creates pressure. So if you can find a way to heat up the air inside this pipette, that might provide enough pressure to push the ink out of the way.
Can I just hold out my hand and thaumaturgy a little flame in my hand again?
Unfortunately, thaumaturgy does not let you automatically ignite air. That would be produce flame is the cantrip you're thinking of. Thaumaturgy can light a candle that's like over there.
Is there?
On
Wait.
fire.
Nah, I don't know if that's worth it.
Do I still have, like, do we have any torches left, or did we give them all to the Dragonborn?
They won't work underwater.
That's not what I was asking.
But you do have some torches left. You do have.
Okay. All right, so I'm going to light a torch. I'm going to try and pour some water on the book.
Okay.
On my water skin, and then I'm going to kind of heat up the pen, and then I'm going to try and
Give me a sleight of hand check as you try to hold the hot glass and heat it up.
I take a sip out of my flask.
sleight of hand is going to be 17.
You're very careful. And do you write your name?
Yep.
You find yourself in another space. And the glass pipette drops into the book.
Alrighty.
So when you said he was very careful,
He was like holding it with
We
his
have
like,
to-
fingernails.
Could you also just
All right.
like take a little bit of burn damage?
You almost did. You almost dropped it and took burn damage.
Mm.
I'm gonna try and mimic exactly what he did.
For the sake of argument's sake, could somebody maybe make like a Constitution save to just like fight through the
Hold on to it?
burning? Yeah.
Yeah, they could try. All right, give me a sleight of hand check.
You want that from me?
Yeah, Onyx.
No, it's 5.
You begin to burn yourself. You're a tiefling, though, so you only really take 1 point of fire damage.
Swift's gonna go ahead and give it a try this time.
Give me a sleight of hand check. Swift. 24.
24.
Holding the tip of it with a claw, and then and kind of holding, and you start to singe a bit of your fur, but you manage to just barely scratch your name into the book, and you teleport to another location.
Ronnie, it's up to you.
Yeah,
try one
no,
more time
I'm just
after you,
angry because I know there's another way to do this, but I can't think of it.
You guys give me a history check.
Sure. You kind of gave me a history check already, but
Yeah, we did. That's fine. This is on stream.
whatever.
17 for me.
I'm gonna mimic what everyone else did then.
Okay. Alrighty. So, Ronnie, as you approach the book, Onyx, you remember that you guys grabbed 2 things. You grabbed a bag of holding and you grabbed a candle.
Mm-hmm.
Who has the
I
bag
take
of
it out and I don't remember who took it.
Probably Ronnie if he has the
would have been
bag of
Ronnie.
holding.
I believe it was Ronnie, yeah.
Okay, well, I completely forgot about that candle. Not gonna lie.
That's fine. So did chat.
Well,
I'm
there
looking
go.
at you. You're accountable too. You're part of this.
You're failing me, chat. No. So do we even have any matches? Are we gonna?
You guys
allow
have
that?
dinner boxes. It's D&D.
Okay, cool.
Everyone can start a fire. That's one of the rules.
Sure.
I also imagine that my torch just dropped when the
Very true.
pen did. So there's just a torch chilling too.
You can light the candle if you'd like.
Sure. I
TM
will
did
take
try
it.
and help us too by saying thaumaturgy is just enough to light a candle. Like he gave.
So, as you light the candle, it's a very nice, pretty candle. It doesn't appear as though the wax is melting.
I would use a detect magic if I only had more spell slots.
If I only had more spell
But
slots.
yeah, get the pen nice and toasty with some water in it, and just
Some
run
air in
around.
it?
Yeah, an air.
You start to. It is hot to the touch. Give me a sleight of hand check.
Yeah, what is my sleight of hand? 22.
You do a very great job, and the. Do you leave the candle behind?
I
For
try
Onyx?
not to.
Okay, the
Well,
candle
no.
goes with you. Alrighty, Onyx, you are trapped in a room with a dead body and
Oh,
If
I thought
I
no.
was
Okay,
holding my hand on his shoulder, would I have gone with him?
I thought no. Sorry, I thought
Unfortunately,
it. I
no,
thought it
it's
was
not.
the last one in the room.
No.
I'm sorry, I'm not paying attention.
That's okay.
I will leave that. If I thought it was
Ronnie
the last one in
leaves
the
the
room,
lit
that's why I
candle
took
for
the
you,
candle with
Onyx.
me, knowing that there was someone else. Sorry, I wasn't paying attention. I will leave the candle alone.
I'm assuming you want another sleight of hand check from me.
Yeah, sure. If this is the way that you're gonna solve this puzzle, yeah, you burn yourself.
Nope.
1 more point of fire damage.
Well, shit, I could just keep doing this all day.
Good.
Candle.
The wax still does not seem to melt.
No, I even took the notes down. I have candle written right in front of me, and I just couldn't look
Yeah,
to my
me
right.
too. I don't know.
Up to you. We can keep trying the sleight of hand check.
Just keep going. One
Yeah,
after another.
Circling back
You
to
can
what
try
I said
and,
about the Constitution.
That's another point of
Wow,
fire damage.
another point. We're just gonna become unconscious here from fire as a tiefling. Good.
Just 1 damage at a time.
Oh my
Yep.
goodness.
One at a time. That was a 4, y'all. Chat, hurry up. Come up with something else. I'm out. I don't know.
Okay. Can you try doing a Constitution save to try and still take the damage, but fight your way through and hold on to it? Because your Constitution
Could. Yeah, I'll let you do
is
that.
probably higher than your
Will you
sleight of
burn
hand.
yourself?
Okay. So I do Constitution and sleight of hand, or just Constitution? Oh shoot, he's gone again. I'll just do Constitution. We'll see what happens.
Yeah, I think just Constitution.
Throw.
Oh jeez.
Nope.
Oh,
Gotta make
oh,
that
God.
down.
Unfortunately, you drop the pen. You take.
You take damage. You don't know how much, but you take damage.
Yeah.
Points of damage.
2? I think he said 2.
I think you said 2, yeah.
Chat saying hellish rebuke and frustration.
You can give
I
me
mean,
a check.
oh what? Sorry, you're cutting out
No.
again.
Oh boy. Surely one of these times you have to roll above a 10, right?
You would think. I love the idea of hellish rebuke and frustration. I think narratively that's hilarious.
All right.
Oh,
Checks.
he typed investigation check. Okay. Nope, 7. This whole game is just actually legit. I'm gonna hellish rebuke and frustration because just makes sense. Let's see if he beats the DC 11.
See what happens.
He's trying to come back.
Oh.
No.
Would an inanimate object like a door or a pen not just auto fail?
You would think, right?
I would think. But it's a magic door.
I got
There
a
we go.
Constitution 23 there.
Hey, there it is.
Finally.
And our DM is gone.
Do I take any damage from the failed hellish review? Oh, I should probably take that 11, hey? I take my own 11 fire damage.
Well, technically it would be either a 5 or a 6 because half damage.
Half. That's fair. I'll take 5. No, I'll take 6. That makes more sense. Damage. Okay.
I said nah. He said nope.
Oh, nah, dude.
No.
Okay, great.
No.
Your hellish rebuke spooked the door, and you finally caught it off guard, so you could pass your Constitution save to get through.
Great. Roll through.
You successfully intimidated the door into letting you through.
It's a
Well, we
real.
roll through to a place we don't know where.
Yes, we are now in the Chamber of Darkness.
Ooh.
It is
Real
also
dark.
getting a little bit late. I wonder if our producer might want to wrap us up tonight and see if we can play again another time.
Yeah,
Yeah,
because it's really cut into my bedtime.
I feel like this is a good kind of cliffhanger moment.
Indeed,
Totally.
it seems like
Yeah, and if
with the
it
technical
looks like he's not coming
difficulties,
back.
yeah, it might be for the best, unfortunately.
Alrighty. Oh, and of course, that's what brings him back.
Or
Oh.
not.
Sort of.
Maybe
Oh,
not.
Struggling.
Spoke too
Doing
soon.
his worm dance.
We're all sitting on the edge of our seats, hovering, trying to find out.
There he goes. Yeah, I think we should just. I think consensus says we end it.
Wrap.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
The interwebs seem to be saying it is time to call it a night, as
So-
our
It
DM is.
I can see you all now.
Oh, he can see us.
We can hear you.
I can
Maybe turn your camera off.
Hear you.
Portrait
Oh, dear.
booklet.
You're trying, Eddie.
Turn it into a portrait booklet. Yeah.
Okay.
I
Yeah.
did
Good.
consent. The interwebs there, and there he goes again. The interwebs have spoken, and we're gonna
Indeed.
call it a night. I want to give a huge thank you to Eddie, who's gonna have to watch the VOD to hear this. I'll clip it. We'll clip it.
It's okay.
Anyways,
He'll
we're
know.
starting us off with our first communities game without Kevin, and so this is like cool. Whoa. And thank you guys for being here in the cast. This has just been, oh my goodness, this has been so much fun. I'm so privileged to be here and have a front row seat and all this. This has been
Oh,
very fun. Ooh, and there's Kevin who could say thank you all back. And thank you to the other Twitch viewers watching the stream and chatting. We've had a constant number all night. It has been super, super fun chatting with you and being part of it. If you wish to be part of our community and part of our games, and if you aren't already, if I can spell Discord correctly, there we go. Please join us in Discord, because the Dirty 20 gaming community is just a fantastic, wonderful, supportive, loving community that has a lot of fun. And thank you to Kevin, who is apparently back, for letting us steal his stream key and streaming here on his channel without him. Thank you, sir. We are very happy. And then to the YouTube viewers of the future, thank you so much for watching. And if you're still watching at this point, hit the like button, because we assume you did. So that you liked it the whole way through. Alrighty. And finally, did I miss any thank yous before I go off? Anybody, did I miss any thank yous?
no, I think that covers everything.
Okay.
Yeah, thanks, guys. This has been a lot of fun so far, and I look forward to seeing you guys for part 2.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Definitely agree.
Until next time, peeps, please be nice to each other. Good night.
Good night, everybody.
Bye.